Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is February the 12th. We have like 4 trillion games to get into for today. So let's do just that. I don't even think I updated the it's so much going on, man. My head is spinning in so many games today. I didn't get through all of them, so maybe we could talk out a couple, but it's way too many, honestly, if you try to wrap your head around the slate for today. So I do want to do an update because it's been winning days. We've had so many winning days in a row that I do want to do just a quick update to my recap page because we got to talk about the losses the same way we talk about the wins. Not that I don't talk about the losses, because I do. But I took Obi Toppin last night over his 10.5 points after doing some research, and it was a loser. Obi was trash yesterday. Couldn't hit a three-pointer. Did end up getting 9 points because he played some fourth quarter minutes, but he was not. That was not a successful bet yesterday. So I did lose just a half unit last night with Mr. Obi Toppin. Let's see. All right, cool. So we do got it. I got it updated now. So real quick. Yeah. So Obi up and over his 10.5 points yesterday was a loser. Yeah, it was a loser. So slightly unprofitable day yesterday. Some of the things I talked about yesterday, Cash, some of the things were losers. The easy plays were easy plays and they were winners. Memphis minus the points was an easy winner yesterday. Man, the Raptors plus the points was an easy winner yesterday. Not sure what to do with Philadelphia, but neither here nor there. It's a bunch of games to get into for today. I have 3 bets that I've made so far. I've sent out 2. But the third one, I'm kind of hesitant. Not sure if I want to do something different with the play. It's a play that I absolutely love, but not sure if I want to do something different with the play. So let's jump into it for today. Couple comments real quick. I know I'm late. I apologize for that. A lot of things going on this morning. Sun woke up right when I was about to do the show. And then, like I said, there's just a million games going on. So yeah, let's jump into it. What up, Prolifics? Is good morning, Chris. New NYC not enjoying the snow. We enjoying it here. Gina says she cast on Joel Embiid points, rebounds, and assists over Benedict Mathurin points, Tobias Harris over his points and rebounds, and Memphis minus 4.5. Glad you cashed last night, Gina. These were some good looks. What up, Sean? Since top of the morning, best of luck, fam. Today he likes the Warriors minus 3.5. Got him early. I saw that 3.5 and then it disappeared, man. It is up to 6 now. And we'll talk about it. That is a game that I do like. What's up, Mark? Says 15 games for the All-Star break is crazy. Man, it's insane, bro. It is insane. Try it. Boy. Yeah. Good morning, Marquise. The last full card of the week. Let's make it a good one. Yeah, I'm trying to cash out today, man. I need a little bread. I know we've been on a little run, but I need a little bit more before the break. It's a couple games tomorrow, too, but it's a big slate today. Big slate today. Savant says, yeah, 15 games is crazy. This is then there's no real action for a week. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. What's up, Peasy? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Jose. Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Mitchell. You are actually early. I'm late. Yeah. What's up, Fear Elite? What else we said in the comments? Chad says, so he says, go very light today, guys. There will be some very odd stuff happening on the last major slate. Some ready to go on vacation, some mentally already have, and that's a fact. That is a fact. Always need to point that out. I was going to point it out, but Chad already pointed it out in the comment section for sure. Let's see what else. Top of the morning to my guy Justin. Yeah, Obi was trash last night, man. Playing against his old team, it was a really good look. It just didn't happen, man. JFX says, Chris, we finally got our first real snow in New England. Man, I'm looking outside. I shovel snow. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't get to cap the games, because my neighbor just has his shoulder surgery done last week. So I went and shoveled his driveway for him. Him and his wife, their driveway for him yesterday. And I didn't realize it was going to take that long. After shoveling my own driveway, making snowmans and snow angels with my son, I just ran out of time yesterday after doing Cal show. But it's neither here nor there, man. Then I wanted to watch the games last night. I got caught up in the Unrivaled 101, which I didn't know was going to take that long. Fell asleep on the sofa, didn't do a night show. So I'm just kind of all over the place, man. But I do appreciate everybody for tapping in. What's up, Will? We're gonna jump into it. There's a bunch of games on the board for today. Jason, he made some money. Said Unravel was there. The money was it was. I cashed a couple tickets last night. Unravel for sure. Let's jump into it for today though. What's up, J man? Appreciate you, Hot TV Grits. I mean, I got to shovel, bro. Got to shovel. Got to be able to get out. And speaking of this message here from Lester, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm gonna jump into it. This is background track. He likes this one. So I think it was Shy who sent me that instrumental. I emailed you back, Shy. If you are listening, I did email you back. The beat that you sent me was fire. I loved it. I just need to make sure that it's yours. I need to make sure you give me permission to use it and making sure it's no copyright infringement. So if you can, I did email you back, but I do love that track and I would put that in as one of the background tracks for sure. So appreciate that. Appreciate that email on that track. It's a cold instrumental. I like it a lot. All right, let's jump into it for today, man. First up, we got jaXon, as we always do. Your sports betting handicapper, tool, partner, assistant, whatever you want to call the jaXon AI model, algorithm, whatever you want to call it. So there is a 50% discount code, as I always say in the description of the video. Check it out if you're interested in signing up for jaXon. 50% off whatever tier you sign up for. And you can type these prompts in: player prop, sides, totals, injury information, charts, graphs, you name it. Super cool tool. So today, 15 games on the board, simple prompt. jaXon, what is the best against the spread pick in the NBA today? And jaXon, as it did yesterday, likes the Memphis Grizzlies plus the 4.5. And it was an easy bet yesterday. Talk myself into it, talk myself out of it. Talk myself into it, talk myself out of it. We talked about it. Sometimes the easy plays cash. I just didn't put $1 on it yesterday. A little frustrated that I didn't, because Phoenix is Phoenix, man. They don't cover numbers. That's what they don't do. So for this game today, makes me a nice little chart, as it always do. Has records, straight up records, ATS records, points scored, points allowed, recent form. And it tells me that the Grizzlies have been solid recently, winning 3 of their last 5 games. They're coming off a strong performance and have shown resilience and bouncing back after losses. Which they didn't lose, so I'm interested for that. So the Clippers, on the other hand, are struggling, losing 4 of their last 5 games. The defense has been inconsistent, allowing an average of 114.3 points per game during that stretch. Head-to-head matchup in the last 13 meetings between the two teams, underdogs are 10-3 against the number, which strongly favors the Memphis Grizzlies in the spot. Injury impact: while the Clippers have a strong roster, their recent struggles suggest they are not playing at full strength or cohesion. Memphis, despite some injuries, have been able to maintain a balanced and competitive lineup. Betting trends: the Clippers have been poor ATS, going just 1-4 against the number in their last 5 games. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies have been more resilient, more reliable against the spread, especially as underdogs in tough matchups. So then you got betting odds plus 4.5 is available on BetMGM at -110. Recommendation: Memphis Grizzlies plus 4.5. The Grizzlies have the edge in recent form, sharp money backing, and historical trends as underdogs in this matchup. With the Clippers struggling on the court and ATS, both on the court and ATS, Memphis is well positioned to cover the spread in this game. So jaXon likes the plus 4.5 that you can get with the Memphis Grizzlies against the Clippers, which is the last game on the board for today. So we'll see if anybody, we'll see. I'll get to that game. If I'm being honest, I haven't even looked at that game. That's one of the last games on the show. So that's jaXon's thoughts on the pick for today. And jaXon lost a bet with the Timberwolves the night before, but I want to say jaXon's cashed like 9 of his last 11 bets. I want to say something along those lines. jaXon's been absolutely on fire, and jaXon like Memphis yesterday. Easy winner -4. Even though Phoenix did battle back, but they still end up winning the game by 7. So that's that. First game up we have is the San Antonio Spurs, and I went through about 8 games last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8. I didn't get through the last about 8. So we'll talk through these first few, man. I still feel like I need to do a little bit more work, but I'm going more player prop today than size and total. There's only one spread bet that I've made. Haven't bet any totals yet either. And we'll see what happens with the injury report. So First game that we got up is the San Antonio Spurs and the Boston Celtics. Let me just double check the injury report real quick. Yesterday, I wrote down that Drew Holiday was out, which he is, and Jaylen Brown is listed as questionable, which he is. It's a knee injury. And maybe they don't even play him just because it's the last game before the All-Star break. You get a whole week off if they don't play him here. So, and that's what we saw yesterday, right? Miles Turner didn't play. Who else didn't play? OG Anunoby didn't play. Maybe those guys don't play just to kind of get that extra day of rest, right? You don't want to jeopardize something. So I guess I'm talking myself into Jaylen Brown potentially not playing. On the San Antonio Spurs side of things, they will be healthy. Outside of Basie, they don't have anybody on the injury report here. So first meeting of the season, Boston has dominated the San Antonio Spurs. They've won 4 straight, covered 3 straight against this team, 3 straight unders. 5 of the last 6 games have actually stayed under the total between these two teams as well. This line opened at 8 yesterday, and the total was at 232. We've seen it go up to 233.5 now, and the spread had actually gone up to 9. I saw 9 this morning. Now it's come back down to 8.5. So I kind of agree with the money coming in on San Antonio here. So for San Antonio, last game before the All-Star break, last game of a 6-game road trip, typically a spot you don't want to bet on a team. Only 4-6 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. 4 straight overs since Fox have gotten to the team. Only 1-3 against the spread since Fox have gotten there as well. But they've been laying a lot of points. They're 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games. A lot of offense, not a lot of defense. Now for Boston, back-to-back wins. They beat the Miami Heat. They beat the New York Knicks. Back-to-back covers as well. Beat both teams by 18+ points. Last game before the All-Star break for them, and first game back home after a 2-game road trip. They played 6 of their last 7 games on the road. So you got not a good spot for Boston, not a great spot for San Antonio. San Antonio should be the more healthier team. I would be taking the points here. Boston consistently has struggled when they've covered games. In back-to-back games, same thing, right? Because they are coming off back-to-back covers against the Heat and against the Knicks. 12-9 straight up, 5-16 against the spread if they've won back-to-back games this season. They're +4 in point differential. Just 1-5 against the spread if they're coming off back-to-back wins and they're at home in their next game, with their last game being on the road. So this is a phase spot of Boston. Also, the Celtics are 1-8 against the spread coming off a road win, returning back home. We just saw this last week against Dallas. They were laying, 12.5 points. They lost the game outright by almost double digits. So I actually want to pull this up real quick and just show you guys what I'm looking at here, because this is something that I have loaded in the chamber, but I have not pulled the trigger quite yet. I'm going to go over to Give Me the Dog just really, really quickly and show you guys what this trend looks like. Because I know I did a lot of talking, but I just want to show you what it looks like. This is what I'm seeing when I type this in. So this is the Celtics. You can't see it behind my face right here. You can't see it now. So this is the Celtics coming off a road win when they're at home. Okay, so they won their last game on the road, and now they're a home favorite. 1-8 against the spread. Look at the last 8 games. The one that they covered was right here. They actually covered the first one of the season back on October the 28th, my birthday. Look at these 8 straight losses here. Losing these games outright by average of 2 points, 113 to 115. San Antonio plus the points or nothing for me here. Pretty easy cap, in my opinion. Some hesitation, if I had any at all, would be just that San Antonio, still new team, not really cohesive at all. I was listening to Fox talk about it after the game. Because when they traded for Fox, they were already in Atlanta, and on this road trip, they have not got a practice day in. Not one single practice day for the San Antonio Spurs quite yet. They've been playing and then traveling to the next city. So that gives me a little hesitation. We know Boston can play really well and play really good defense. They are still top 5 defensive rated team on the full season. But I would be taking the points here. I would be taking the points. Also, let's go over to Outlier really quickly. Got a player prop that I love, and actually one that I'm looking at as well. Probably won't play both, but I got to figure out how I do want to play it. This is Outlier, 7-day free trial link in the description if people are interested in checking out Outlier. But looking at my guy, Mr. Victor Wembanyama, So last game they played against the Wizards and he had a really good matchup. I talked about liking his over 24, 25 and a half points. He crushed that number, 30 plus points in that game. Today, I'm looking to fade Victor. Looking to fade Mr. Wembanyama. He does not get a really good matchup in this spot. He actually gets a very tough matchup. And initially, I got a whole write-up. I was about to send this out to the members. The 3.5 assists, right? We cashed on this against Orlando. Well, against Atlanta. Didn't play it against Charlotte. Or did we play it against Charlotte? I think we cashed on it twice. Stayed off of it against Orlando, and then didn't play it, of course, against the Wizards. Their defense is terrible. But if we look at Wemby last 5 games, well, this is what I like to do. I like to start with a full season view, right? So his assist prop is 3.5, and it's plus 124. That's a very, very big indication that, it's probably going to be an under. So we look at the full season, we can see that he's averaging right at 3.64 assists, right? And 6.7 potential right here when we're over where the mouse is. 6.7 potential. Then we zoom into last 5 games because Fox has been on the team for 4. And we see that that 6.7 drops down to about 5.8, right? This Memphis game also did not have De'Aaron Fox. This was the last game before the De'Aaron Fox trade. So he has 7 potentials here. So you can see the potentials here, 5-6, 5-6, right? So he's gone over in back-to-back games, but this game against Orlando, he was listed at 2.5. He got the 4. And then against Washington, they're not a real basketball team. We talk about that all the time. So he was able to still get his 4, even though he had about 30 points. So Wemby has had, if you count these up, this is 22 potential assists. He's converted 13 of those into actual assists. Since Fox has joined the team. In the 25 games because you can see that he's only had 6 potentials in both of those. In the 25 games since Fox has, in the 25 games that he's had 6 potential assists or less, he's under in 18 of his 25 games. That's a 72% hit rate to the under on Wemby to go under his assist prop today. Boston allows the 3rd fewest assists in the league, 5th best defensive rated team, and they also play at the 6th lowest pace. So I love Wemby under his assists today. The number is juiced, though. It's minus 136 on FanDuel, minus 145 on ESPN Bet. The reason why I didn't play it, or the reason why I didn't give it out as an official play yet, because it's locked and loaded in the chamber, I actually think that there's a better look on the board, and that's actually Victor Wembanyama's points plus assists. So Victor gets a terrible matchup today. This Boston Celtics defense is 5th in transition defense. Wemby scores 15% of his points in transition. They're actually 5th best in pick and roll defense, which Victor Wembanyama scores 15% of his points there. They're 4th against the spot up. He scores 13% of his points there. And they also don't foul. He gets about 12% of his points from the free throw line, and they're 3rd in that department as well. So Wemby gets a terrible matchup. Guys like Karl-Anthony Towns, Miles Turner, and Karl-Anthony Towns, again, both have actually stayed under their points prop. And we know that, if there's a tough matchup for Victor Wembanyama, it's typically size. People like Giannis, people like Kristaps Porzingis. And I do think Boston's going to be physical with him. So if you combine the points, which is down to 22.5 now, this was 25.5 the other day. So the books are anticipating Wemby to struggle here. If you combine the points and assists, you can get a 27.5. I think I saw on FanDuel. That's the way that I would be looking to play. 27.5 was minus 122 on FanDuel when I looked a little earlier. I do think Wemby stays under his points plus assists. So whether you want to take the assists and this juice, like I said, minus 136, or you want to take the points plus assists under at 27.5, I do like Victor Wembanyama to struggle today. I don't think that he's going to have a lot of success today. So a couple different ways I'm looking to play this one. Wemby to stay under his points and assists. Wemby to stay under his assists strictly. And then I look towards the Celtics. Look towards the Spurs to actually cover the spread. I do think that 8.5 is too many points. Wish I could have grabbed a 9, but 8.5 I think is too many points. Let's see if we have anything in the comments. I'm not going to go through all of the comments on this game because yesterday was a longer show because I wanted to see what people are thinking. I don't really care as much what other people are thinking about this game because I handicapped it myself. So not to say I'm discrediting people in the comments, but we all know people come in the comments and shout out anything. So What's up, Christian? Says, what's good, Chris in chat? Let's keep the streak rolling. Memphis came through last night. I think I'm going Kings tonight. Okay, see how that goes. Can we get some over-unders on players today? Tyler says. Yeah, I got a couple for you, Tyler. You're in luck today. You are in luck. Let's see. Nebraska. My fault, JFX. Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska. Let's see. What else we thinking about this one? Appreciate you, Zay. I did not, Tash. I did not play it. I said that it was Toronto team total under, though, just based on their recent roster. They were going to struggle to score, and they shut Philly down too. I do need to invest in a snowblower. Man. We don't get snow that often in Virginia, though. That's one of the reasons why I don't got a snowblower. Not this much snow. Man, it looks like it's about 15 inches of snow outside, man. It's been snowing for 2 days, it feels like. The bookie says, what up, Chris? Give me the Spurs plus 8.5 here. Dropping down says this game means way more to the Spurs. Mark says, I think San Antonio will be more motivated for this one. Boston wins, but don't care about covering. I agree. Over, if anything, got a system on Boston, but can't do it. GLB says Spurs and over for Jose. Think it's Spurs money line. See that? I think that's a little greedy, but don't let me talk you all. Spurs 7-18 against the spread in games with higher totals. We talk about this all the time, right? I'm interested though, GLB, to see how this goes after the All-Star break, right? This was something that I picked up on about a month ago. Spurs, if the total was higher, I think I was using 225. If the Spurs are playing a game with a total that's higher than 225, they are 6-19 against the spread. 6-19 against the spread, as opposed to the Spurs being in lower scoring games. If the total is below 225, they're 7-18 against the spread. So that's a 68% hit rate under 225 and a 24% hit rate over 225. So you don't like to see that if you like the Spurs. I am interested to see now that they have Fox, who I feel like Fox has a pretty good matchup, especially without Drew Holiday being there. Potentially no Jaylen Brown. You get those guards like Peyton Pritchard and Hauser, and I mean those guys are not the same defensive guys as Jaylen Brown and potentially Jaylen Brown questionable and Drew Holiday. So yeah, I think Fox should be able to have a pretty good game here. I still lean Spurs plus the points. I think that trend, GLB, could correct itself a little bit over the course of time, being that Fox is on the team now, because he does help the offense out a lot. Natalie says she got another sweep last night. Had to switch it up. Knicks and Pistons last minute. Likes the Celtics in this one. Okay. Both teams in phase spot. Easy pass, Brian says. Porzingis' first quarter points been cashing out, but it seems the books are catching up. I didn't even look into it this morning, Mark. I think Wemby gives him a little bit more difficult of a matchup, because I did think about it. Didn't play this, though. I know we cashed on it the other day. Not sure what the number is either, but 5.5. It's probably about right, though. I think he gets more usage. I probably would still bet on it before I faded it. Damon says Spurs plus the points. Like the 1-18 ATS after a road win for the Celtics. Also, won and covered last game. They absolutely did. Boston coming off a win. Give me whoever the other team is. That's simple. I hope Boston plays all their guys and the line goes up. Didn't look into CP3 assist at all. G Hill. Will says I've been playing Stephon Castle consistently. He's been cashing. Yeah, I do agree. Castle is nice, man. I like Castle a lot. Good morning, Adam. Hill says Chris Paul has hit this assist mark in every game since Fox joined. Right, Chris? I think he might have went under in one game. I'm not sure. Chris Paul is not somebody I'm looking towards, because I just talked about this Boston team doesn't give up a lot of assists. They are third. They give up the third fewest assists, and he stayed under against Orlando. Other than that, he has gone over every single game. Every single game since he joined. So this actually got bet down from 7.5 to 6.5. I don't have a strong opinion on Fox on Chris Paul. I wouldn't be playing. I'm not playing too many overs assist wise against the Boston Celtics though. Wemby 25 plus. I don't agree with that. Steven Castle, points, rebounds, and assists. Let's see. Is this the national TV game today? Somebody said something about a national TV game. Let's see what we got. NBA schedule. I didn't even see who were on national TV. Yeah, this is the national TV game today. Yep, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that lets me know I've been on this game for way too long because we're still on the first game. Not a good spot for KP. First quarter points is minus 105 for a reason, Chad says. Oh, so it's up to, he says, so you got to get 6. He says it's minus 105 for a reason here. Like I said, not anything I looked at. I want Wemby under his assist, though. I do want that. I think we start to pick back up on that with Fox being back. Need a double-double from yesterday and from somebody in yesterday's game. Bro, I might not even talk about the Bulls today. I might skip over that game in all honesty. The Boogie says Wemby about to go crazy today. I disagree. We'll see how it goes though. Next game up, we got Pacers and Wizards. Game will be played in DC today. This line was at 11 yesterday. Oh man, let's see. All right, let me get my live eye screen back up. So this was at 11 yesterday. It's down to 9.5. People are betting the Wizards, man. It's crazy times in the NBA. Looks like it's going back up to 10. Total, when I wrote it in my notes yesterday, was 240.5, and it's still about 240. So the Pacers, of course, can rest players here because this is the second leg of a back-to-back. They were without Miles Turner yesterday. Not sure if he's going to play in today's game. Don't think I saw anybody get injured yesterday. They just didn't. I mean, the Knicks are good. The Knicks are better than the Pacers, especially without Miles Turner, even without OG Anunoby. I thought the Pacers were in a primetime bounce back spot yesterday with no Miles Turner. Want nothing to do with them. Knicks have beaten them 2 games in a row, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Wizards. The Wizards getting 10 points here. This kind of feels. I'm not laying this many points with the Pacers on the road on the second leg of a back-to-back, but I kind of don't want the Wizards either, man. I kind of don't want the Wizards either. So it's an easy pass for me. Second matchup of the season. The Wizards did cover, I think. No, actually it was a push. Pacers beat this Wizards team 115-103 as a 12-point home favorite back on November the 24th. That game did go under the 240. The last 3 matchups have actually had super high totals and all stayed under 240 this season, earlier this season, 252 last season, and a 261 last season as well between these 2 teams. Indy, like I said, second leg of a road home back-to-back. They've played 4 straight road games and then went home for 1 game against the Knicks. Now back on the road with no rest. That's typically a fade spot. It says to take the Wizards. This is also some fade stuff I got in my notes. Pacers just 2-5 straight up and against the spread when they're playing unrested this season. They're 1-3 straight up and 0-4 against the spread if they're playing unrested and they're favorites in their next game. So I would say take Wizards here. Wizards are just 2-4 straight up, 3-3 against the number, with an average margin of victory being just 6 point, margin of defeat being 6 points if their opponent is unrested and they have rest. So my numbers say that Wizards should be able to cover this game, man. I don't think I bet on the Wizards this season, and I'm content with not betting on the Wizards. Spot does say Wizards plus the points. I guess that's the way I would look. I don't expect Miles Turner to come back in this game. The Wizards, I don't think that they have ruled a lot of their guys out. I know Alex Sarr is listed as questionable. He's missed back-to-back games with an ankle injury, and we'll see what happens with Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton and some of those other guys. Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not sure what the Wizards are going to do. This is not a game that I wanted to stay on for a long time. Just giving you guys thoughts. Let's see what we have here, if anybody got thoughts at all on this one. Unraveled is nice. I made some money with Azare Stevens. Only thing I lost on was what did I lose on? I lost on I bet Satu last night to beat Dejanay too. And that was a slugfest last night between them two. Nobody could score. But yeah, I lost. Who did I lose on? I lost on somebody early. Forgot who it was. But yeah, I went 3-1 yesterday in Unraveled. So it wasn't too bad. No, 3-2, because I bet Fee with the Philadelphia 76ers money line, and they couldn't even beat the Raptors last night. Didn't want to lay the 200. Just some small personal plays. That was terrible though, man. Absolutely not. Fortunately, you could not pay me to go see the Wizards play against the Pacers in DC. They could be playing in my living room, and I would come downstairs and do a show. I don't want to see that. I absolutely no interest in watching the Wizards play basketball, man. They could call me right now and say, Chris, we got free tickets, and we'll pay for your gas, fly you here from your crib, 15-minute flight. I'm not going to see the Wizards play basketball, man. The Boogie likes the Wizards plus 10 if Brogdon plays, and I agree with that. Chad says, I do like the Spurs, but I feel like you can get a much better number live, and that could happen too. Drop a Dime says Miles has already been ruled out. I didn't see that. You're right. He did say he was going to be out throughout the All-Star break. So shout out to Drop a Dime for dropping that in here. He is out already, as I kind of anticipated. I'm not betting this game, man. I will say this. This is one last thing I want to say about this game before we transition to the next. The Wizards have actually been pretty good early in games, and they just run out of gas late. So if the Wizards, like I watched them play against San Antonio, they got down 18 points in the first quarter. They fight all the way back to cut it to 3 at halftime. Third quarter, they still kind of, pacing. They still end up almost not covering the spread. They were getting, I think, 11 points. They end up covering about 1 against the San Antonio Spurs. So a look towards, if the game is close and you can get this line under like 6.5, 5.5 or something like that, I do think you lay the points with the Pacers even on the second leg of a back-to-back. That's what I'll say about this one. Matthew over his points. Pacers are nothing. No chance. Chad Bessett. Keyshawn George. Not a big fan of his offensive production, but I think he's going to be okay, though. I do think he's going to be okay in the league. I'm not messing with this game, man. Let's see. Not betting on Kelly Oubre. Love the Pacers in this spot. You'll know when they're going to win within the first 5 minutes. They start with the blowout. They're covering. If they losing, fade them. And I agree with that, Nayeli. The Pacers wins typically start with really good first quarters. I do agree with that. Let's see. All right, next game. Linglewick says Pacers team total record on back-to-back. Let's see real quick. I mean, Pacers rest equals 0. Pacers average 106 on the second leg of a back-to-back. They give up 116, which is crazy. That says under. 4-3 to the under. Game stayed under by about 7 points. And if they're traveling 3-0 to the over, though, they average 113 but give up 130. So it actually says Wizards team total over. They've given up. Their opponent has actually gone up and over their team total in every single game that the Pacers are on the second leg of a back-to-back where they have to travel. And all these games have been on the road. The Magic score 119, the Raptors score 130, the Celtics score 142. So Pacers opponents over their team total. I don't know if I want to bet on the Wizards, though. I'm not betting on the Wizards the night before the last day of a big slate, though. No bet for me here. Best of luck, though. Next game we got is the Hornets and the Magic. I actually do got to play in this one. Sent this out to the members this morning because I was just trying to find a way to make some money in this game, Orlando and Charlotte. And this is a game where the total did open at 208. It's down to 203. So a lot of money coming in on the under here. A lot of money coming in on the under here, and the total, of course, dropping. The spread, of course, has gotten a little bit bigger. I think this might have opened at like 10 or 10.5. I didn't see the opening line, but when I saw it, it was 11.5, and that was with LaMelo already being rolled out. It's up to 12.5 now. Boy, like, bro, when I tell you, so if we go look at the injury report, I'm trying to figure. I know the Orlando Magic have been absolutely trash. That's why my face is looking like this. The Magic have been trash. They haven't been covering numbers. But when you look at Charlotte, boy, you talking about a team that is going to be depleted. I mean, like their whole entire starting five from the beginning of the season is out. LaMelo is out. All they got is Bridges in. Like they got Josh Green, Nick Smith, KJ Simpson, Mark Williams is out. Okogie is out. Diabate is questionable. I'm just not sure. Even Micic is out. Like their backup point guard is out too. So I'm not sure how they're going to be able to generate points in this game. Now, with that being said, their team total is like 97.5. I think it was very uncomfortable number, especially with the way Orlando has been playing defense as of late. 95.5 now is this total, and it's down to 94.5 on ESPN Bet. Boy, that's a low number, man. That is a low. I can't quite get there. So let me jump into give you guys the stuff the handicap, and then I'll get into the player prop. So third matchup of the season, Orlando has won and covered both games. So even though they've been struggling, they have been able to beat up on Charlotte. Both games went under 213 and 213.5. The totals are 8-2 to the under in the last 10. Orlando's 8-2 against the spread in the last 10 against Charlotte as well. Charlotte has lost back-to-back games against Detroit and Brooklyn, 6-3-1 against the number last 10. They played 7 of their last 10 games under the total, and this is their last game before the break. Orlando, not great, 3-7 straight up. 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. Third straight home game. They haven't been covering either. They haven't covered either of the 2 home games against Atlanta or San Antonio since they've been back home. Offensively, they've really stunk it up. This is the last game before the break for them as well. So real quick, let me just go look at some stuff real quick. So Charlotte, Orlando. Charlotte is playing at the second slowest pace. Orlando's playing at the 5th slowest pace. These are last 5 game numbers. Orlando is 12th in defensive rating last 5 games. At home, they are second best defensive rated team. Charlotte is 24th in offensive rating last 5 games. We know that they're under team without LaMelo. They are 22nd in defensive rating last 5 games, which is a slight decline because they have been playing some pretty good basketball defensively, but not recently. And the Orlando Magic are 22nd at offensive rating. So this should be a real game that maybe not even touches 200 points. Not sure what I'll do with the spread there. The play that I have in this game is Miles Bridges under. Kind of correlates. I'm going to go over the outlier really quickly. Kind of correlates a little bit to what we did with Chris Paul in the last game. Right, we played Chris Paul under his points and assists, and I'm taking Bridges under his points and assists in this game. I think that the line is a tad bit inflated just because there is no LaMelo, because there is no Brandon Miller, but it's also a 12.5 point spread. So I think that there is, a real chance this could be a blowout here. So on the screen, we got Miles Bridges. His points and assists is 27.5 right now. I actually got this at -105 over on ESPN Bet. I did play the under. So Bridges, if you look at at where he scores the ball, he generates about a fifth of his points. About 20% of his points actually come from the spot up. Orlando is the number 1 spot up defense in the NBA. They're 7th in transition defense as well, where he gets another 16% of his points. In the 7 games that Bridges has actually played this season, against teams that are top 10 in spot up defense and spot up points allowed, and they also play at a bottom 10 pace. We know that the Orlando Magic play at the second slowest pace, I think, on the full season. Bridges averages just 18.7 points and assists on the full season, and he's hit the under in all 7 of those games. This line, like I said, I think is a tad bit too inflated because LaMelo and Brandon Miller are out. So if we look at the full season numbers for Bridges, his points and assists, you can see that he stayed under this number in 76% of his games. Only 9 of the 37 games he's actually gone over. Like I said, the number is inflated because there is no LaMelo, because there is no Brandon Miller, because there is no Micic. But if they get blown out by Orlando, which is possible, the Bridges will stay under this number. You can see Orlando's defense here, second against a lot as far as points allowed, and second as far as assists allowed. So very similar to what we did with Trae Young. I'm playing Miles Bridges. I think that they have some pretty good defense that they can throw at Bridges today. So yeah, I play Bridges under his points and assists with an inflated number. I really like this one a lot. One of my only, I think I got 3 plays today, but I did play Bridges. I'm also try to find some more that kind of correlate with very similar situational spots. I was initially looking, just real quick, at his points, rebounds, and assists under But the rebounds, it looks like he's been able to pull down. So I stayed off of the rebounds, but he is under in 6 of his 7 games as far as points, rebounds, and assists at 35.5. He's under in 6 of his 7 games against teams that that are top 10 in limited points in the restricted area and bottom 10 in pace. He averages just 26 points, rebounds, and assists. So I initially looked that way, but like I said, he may be able to grab some rebounds. The Magic also struggle to score the basketball. So if he was able to grab some boards, wouldn't surprise me a lot here. I played under points and assists on Mr. Bridges based on my research. Let's see if we have thoughts on this game here. Let's see. Indy 2-5 against the spread and straight up with no rest. That's what I said, Eric. What up, Helping Hands? Pacers -9.5 for prop. Wagner over his boards. Magic first half, maybe, Chad says. Yeah, I think even if you look at like a Charlotte, because Charlotte, real quick, let's see, first quarter, I know that the number is going to be low, but let's see what we can get a Hornets team total at in the first quarter. I do think the Magic start this game off really well. Charlotte first quarter team total is 24.5 right now, -118 on BetMGM. I don't think that they scored 25 points in the first quarter. I do not think that this Charlotte team scores 25 in the first quarter. Orlando Magic at home, they're coming off a loss as well. Let's see, Magic, home favorite, laying double digits this season. They are 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. They beat the Nets and the Wizards in this spot earlier this season. Damn, something wrong with my contact. They beat the Nets and the Wizards in this spot earlier this season. Covered both of the numbers, 116 to 101 and 121 to 94 in this spot earlier this season. They're giving up an average of 22.5 points in the first quarter. So I do expect the Magic to come out with something early. I'm actually going to write that down. I'll put that on my short list for today. Probably be a smaller play if I do make it, but Charlotte first quarter team total under. I mean, who's going to generate these points? Under 24.5, BetMGM. All right. It's down to 23.5 on some books. So what you said just kind of made me think about that, Chad. Let's see. Charlotte, Orlando, full game over for Lingelwick. Wagner over his points. Sure bet I won't be watching this game. It's a fact, Mark. Me either. Maybe this will mirror that Pistons Bulls game last night. I'm on the Magic minus the 12. Could not talk you off, Naeli. Not talk you off. I grabbed the under 208 last night. Steve says, hard pass for me. Too many good games to pick from. Try to find a diamond in the rough, man. Trying to find a diamond in the rough. I do like the 97.5 just makes me feel uncomfortable, Tasha. But anytime I'm taking the team to go under 100, it makes me feel uncomfortable. But yeah, I do think that the team total under in this spot makes a ton of sense, man. Magic could just punt. The Charlotte Hornets could punt this game. Last game before the break, you're down, 6 starters, all of your rotational players. I mean, they'll have Seth Curry and Miles Bridges. That's about it. So I guess I look that way, but I'm not anything that I played. Let's see. Next game up, we got the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knickerbockers. Game will be played at Madison Square Garden tonight. This line was at 9 yesterday, and it's come down to 8 now. And I agree with the move. I do agree with it coming down. Total open 241.5. It's down to 239.5. So Knicks could rest players on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course. They probably will be without OG Anunoby, who didn't play yesterday. I did see on the Atlanta side that they'll be down, how you say his name? Crucci, I think is how you pronounce his name. Crucci, I think is how you pronounce his name. The guard, he will not play. Larry Nance is already ruled out in this game as well. Trae Young is listed as probable. So the reason why I lean a little bit more towards Atlanta is because, one, they have the rest advantage, but two, they've been absolute cash cows recently, and they played this Knicks team very well. They won the first matchup 108 to 100 in Atlanta as an 8-point dog. I was on the Knicks team total over in that spot. And then they beat the Knicks in the Garden as well in the NBA in-season cup game. Trey rolled the dice. They were getting 8 points as dogs in that game, won that game outright. Then the Knicks did get their revenge in the most recent matchup on January the 20th. They beat them 119-110 as a 7.5 point home favorite. So 2 of the 3 games have actually stayed under the total as well. Atlanta, just 4-6 straight up in their last 10 games, but 8-2 against the spread. They've actually covered 6 straight spreads, and they played in 4 straight unders. The Knicks don't do well in this travel situation. The Atlanta Hawks have also won 3 straight games, and it's the last game before the break for them. The Knicks, second leg of a road home back-to-back, of course. They are 8-3 straight up, 6-5 against the spread in their last 11 games. They're 3-0 to the over in their last. They were 3-0 to the over in their last 3 games before last night. That game did go under the total. But the thing that sticks out to me with the Knicks is just when they play unrested. They're 1-5-1 against the spread playing unrested this season. They're +3 in point differential. If you factor in that they had to travel in their next game, 0-2-1 against the spread. They're also 6-1 to the over with those games going all going over. The only one that stayed under was the one against the Nets, which came about 2 weeks ago when they had to travel from Madison Square Garden to Barclay. So some conflicting over-under trends, but I think the general play here would be Atlanta plus the points. Didn't really look into anything as far as player props in this game, just because the Knicks are on the second leg of a back-to-back, and we're not sure if OG is going to play or not. So, as I see that the Charlotte Hornets are signing a guard from the G League, they might score 50 points tonight, man. The Charlotte Hornets. So, yeah, I do think the Atlanta plus the points is the right side in the game. I didn't play it, but Atlanta is on my short list. San Antonio plus the points, plus the 8.5, and Atlanta plus the 8 are definitely on my short list. I want to say that the Atlanta Hawks have the longest ATS streak in the NBA right now, being that Portland has failed to cover back-to-back games. I think the Atlanta Hawks, maybe the Lakers, Atlanta or Lakers, actually have the longest ATS streak in the NBA right now. Teams absolutely been balling. Like I said, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, and they got the rest advantage here. I do think that they're the right side. Let's see what we're thinking about this one. Creechy. It's not Creechy, is it? I thought it was Creechy. I don't know. Let's see what the thoughts are on this one, though. Under 2.5 threes for Nick Smith Jr., Jacob says. I could get down with that. Fade all plays on this game. Not sure what you mean here. What is that? Ike official? Likes Paolo points over, though. Bridges points, rebounds, and assists over. So on the opposite side of everything that I said, best of luck to you, my brother. Best of luck. Yeah, Dean, I agree. Says, come on, man. You know we fade Knicks on back-to-back? Absolutely. The Knicks have actually only played a back-to-back traveling from road to home once this season. That was against the Bulls, and we were on the Bulls earlier this season. That's when the Bulls were not on my that's when I actually could stand the Bulls. GOB says he took the over system play here. Justin says he tailed that. Hawks plus 8. Got to see what the final injury report looks like. Knicks 6-1 to the over on the second leg of a back-to-back. I did talk about that. Justin says he's going to play the money line. Homer play. I'll take the Atlanta on the money line here, plus 245. Brunson points on the bounce back bond says, after only scoring 8 last night, averages 16 shot attempts in those last 5 games, 5 times. Also gets to the line a lot. Okay. DeAndre Hunter trade gave Atlanta some really good bench depth. They do got Niang, Karis LeVert now. I think they're going to continue to cover here. Chad says, I like the Knicks here, even on the back-to-back. They had 3 days off before that, and the Hawks are playing 5th game in 7 nights. Hawks not playing 5th and 7, Chad. So the rest advantage is misleading. Hawks not playing 5th and 7, though, are they? No way the Hawks playing 5th and 7. Yeah, it's not 5th and 7. Not 5th and 7. They are playing. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I had that in my notes. Let's go back up to the top real quick. Yeah, I got the major rest disadvantage spots is Philly, Toronto, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Specifically Philly and Toronto. So this is not a 5th and 7 for Atlanta tonight because they was off last night. 5th and 7 got to be 2 back-to-backs within a week, and they have not played 5th and 7 back-to-back. Yeah, they beat Orlando, beat Washington. I think they can keep it within the number here. I like the way that the line is moving. What else? Cat under his 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists, Dean says. So fading Cat off the big game. Chad said he'll be on the Knicks Island. Knicks 13-5 to the over off a win as a favorite, playing a non-conference opponent. 1, 2. They played the 5th, 7th, 8th, 10th, and the 12th. 1, 2. Hold on. So they had a day off before this game. So they played the 5th. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. That's 8 games. That's 8 days, Chad. That's 8. So 5th and 8 here, not 5th and 7th. No team playing 5th and 7 tonight. That would have definitely populated for me. I love fading teams on 5th and 7. So yeah, that's where we'll go with that game. We'll move over to I lean Atlanta plus the points, plus the 8. Next game up, 76ers and Nets. Boy, what do we say about Philly? What do we really say about the Philadelphia 76ers? This line opened at 3, got bet down to 2.5. Now it's back up to 3. Total open, I guess 212 up to 213.5 or 213. I do see a 213.5 populating right now. Not a game that I'm a play. I kind of feel like if I want Brooklyn, I want them catching a few more points. I'm not sure if Brooklyn is interested in winning this game. Brooklyn has actually been winning a few games, and I feel like it's time for Brooklyn to start losing some games. So I'm not saying that they're going to throw the game for throw this game, but it wouldn't surprise me if they, we saw some fishy stuff late in this game. They just beat Miami outright as a 5-point dog. Then they beat Charlotte as a 5-point favorite when LaMelo got hurt. They are 9-1 to the under in their last 10 games. So this is not a good spot for Philly, of course, right? Philly is in a terrible spot here. This is 6 game in 9 nights on top of the second leg of a back-to-back, 7 game in 11 nights. Joel Embiid said he didn't know if he was going to play. I also saw, what's his name? Nick Nurse say that Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, who didn't play last night, are probably unlikely to play tonight. And then I think on Brooklyn's side, all I saw was Nick Claxton listed as questionable in this game. So they could be a lot healthier here. Of course, they won't have Cam Thomas, but they got Cam Johnson back now. I kind of want to take. I'm not looking towards Philly. Like, let's not get that twisted. Not ever looking towards Philly. This is. They're slowly but surely starting to turn into the Chicago Bulls. It's not a good basketball team. When you can't beat Toronto, I'm not sure what to tell you. They do own Brooklyn. They played them twice, won both games, both straight up and against the number this season. So you got double revenge here for Brooklyn. If you think that's something to play on too, Brooklyn has been by far the better team against the spread, 6-3 in their last 9. I just can't. 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. Brooklyn is the preferred side here. Just not sure if I can quite get there in this spot. The other thing I looked at was that also lines up for Brooklyn here was home dogs playing their 5th straight home game, because Brooklyn hasn't had to travel at all. So home dogs playing their 5th straight home game versus an opponent with no rest have been slightly profitable at 53%, dating back all the way back to 1995, just throughout the whole Give Me the Dog database. This season, 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread, 3-0 against the spread, 3-0 to the under. The average game is staying under by about 23 points this season with an average of 207 points. So that would say a Philly team total under if you wanted to stay away from the spread here. And like I said, Brooklyn is 9-1 to the under in their last 10 games. So not a game I feel too comfortable with, but maybe a Philly team total under. It's 108.5 right now on FanDuel. I like this trend though, and I'm not gonna bring it up and put it on the screen, but like I said, home dogs have been profitable playing their 5th straight home game against a team that they against a team that's on no rest. And like I said, Philly is in one of the worst situational spots. 7 game in 11 nights, off a loss, off a lot of losses, man. The Sixers stink, man. They stink. So those are my thoughts on this game. Didn't really look into player props on this one either. Let's see if we have thoughts here about this one. The sound retreat says Philly is flat out outrageous, but they need a win going into the All-Star break. Yeah, they needed a win last night. They needed a win. They need a win tonight. They needed a win against the Bucks in their last game that didn't have Giannis, that they were favorites in. Man, Sixers are burning money, man. They are burning people money. I refuse to back this team. 19, 33 and 1 against the number, 36.5%. They failed to cover 5 straight games. Raptors, Bucks, Pistons, and the no K Cunningham lost to the Heat, lost to the Mavericks. ATS they did beat the Mavericks, but lost to them against the number as well. I just can't, man. I can't. Don't let me talk you off if you like Philly though, but I'm not playing Philly ever in life. It don't look like. Chaz says he'll playing without Embiid. Maxey had 5 points yesterday. Maxey over will be on his card, Justin says. Absolutely disgusting, but like Philly here, I've heard that so many times dropping down from myself and others. So if you're betting Philly, man, I will be sending prayers for you, and I hope that you cash that ticket. They should beat the Nets. The Nets probably don't want to win this game. Not putting any money on Philly. They can't disappoint me more than they have already this season. They had Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid last night and lost to a Toronto team. I digress, man. I digress. I'll just root for you guys, man. I will root for you guys. Cal says, Jacob says Cal's on Sixers team total over. I'll pray for Cal too. And I agree with that. This is the team from Philadelphia, man. Shout out to everybody in Philly. At least you got the Eagles. Nets for Nayeli. She'll catch it. She'll take the points here. And it is moving to 3 now, so you can get a +3. I'll probably be looking. I'm not playing this game. It's not one that I feel comfortable enough playing. If I want Brooklyn, I do want a couple more points, even though, like I said, Philly has been god-awful, man. Boy, I can't keep catching the falling knife. I think I've done it 2 or 3 times this season. That's enough for me. Not burning my money with this team, man. Let's see. Next game we got up is the Pistons and the Bulls. I didn't even change the line from yesterday. I don't really want to be on this game for long. I do want to point out the trend that my guy Ronald talked about yesterday in the chat, because I did put that in my notes for this game. This line is now up to 6. I don't know what was said after the game last night with Coach Billy Donovan. The total has come down to 236.5. I'm not sure what was said because I didn't even look into it. I feel about the Bulls the way I kind of feel about the Sixers. It's actually worse for the Bulls. They're just not a real basketball team, man. They were 1 for 21, I think, at the end of halftime from the 3-point line. And just when you think they can score, they say, no, we can't. We can't score. We don't shoot threes. We don't make threes at the second highest clip in the NBA. That's not what we do. We suck at everything. And that's what we saw last night, man. I don't know. I despise the Bulls. I didn't play the game yesterday. Didn't lose $1 with them, but this is what the Bulls do. They probably win this game outright against Detroit by 12, being that they're getting 6 points now. So, no idea. This is 7th game in 11 nights for Detroit. That's a fade spot. And the trend that RC shared yesterday was that when 2 teams are playing, both of them are unrested. You're playing the same exact team and you lost the first game, 30 and 15 against the spread in the next one. If you lose the game by 30 points, I think they lost by 40 last night, probably even stronger. This season, the totals are 5-0 to the under in that situational spot. So that would say that this game goes under. We did see the total drop. Yesterday's game did go under the total as well. So maybe a look towards the under. But if you expect Chicago to play well, you expect them to score a lot more points than they did last night. So that scares me off of that too. So it's an easy skip for me here. I'm not touching the Bulls. Not touching the Bulls. With a free bet, I wouldn't play the Bulls. Let's see. Bulls +6 for D-Bookie. Okay. Bulls 2-7-1 against the spread on the back-to-back, Jacob says. Pistons money line -160. Ooh, that's an ugly price. But best of luck. I hope you cash it. Durant double running it back. Yeah, I think Durant struggled last night. I checked at halftime. I think he had like 2 points. Not sure why. Didn't watch too much of this game. Just saw that the Bulls couldn't hit a three. And Chicago's defense is not – Detroit's three-point defense is not as good as it was last night. I'm not sure what was going on with Chicago last night, but I know that they shot terrible. They were down – it was like, what, 50 – my fault. It was 71-29 at halftime. They did end up scoring 30 points in the fourth quarter, 33 points in the third quarter, 33 points in the fourth quarter. A little bit more Bulls-like play, but – who knows? For a full game, man, this team is clearly they're ready to get to the All-Star break. Durant had 4 points last night. Oh God, how you have 4 points against the Bulls, man? I'm off Durant. I'm off everything. I hope you cash, Jacob. Hope you cash, bro. Pistons team total over for props. Mark says he bet the under 237.5. That makes a ton of sense. Bulls +6, but I ain't putting much on it. Diley says she'll go Pistons again. Booch is trash. Yeah, I think under is the best play. I would be not playing it, but if I had to add anything to this game, in my opinion, it would be under. Under would be the play here. Under 237, I think, is available still. Total points under 230. I would play 230. You can still get 237.5 if you got Hard Rock, but 230. It's come down to 236.5 on most books. I would agree with that. 236.5 would be my strongest play. I agree with Mark. Yeah, it used to go the opposite way though, Jacob. I got a lot of strong trends that would say to go the opposite way. Justin says he'll catch the falling knife. Give him the Bulls. Bulls money line. Don't judge me, but y'all got to get that lick back. 29 at half. So yeah, Bulls +175 gonna be on his card. Bulls shoot 61% tonight. I'm with Chad, bro. Bulls probably gonna shoot 70% from the 3-point line tonight, man. I'm not touching it. Yeah, I could give you guys some really strong trends that back the Bulls. I'm saving my time, and I'm gonna save y'all time as well, man. And to Sean's point, I see this comment here. I put this in the Discord last night. Bulls first quarter. Bulls first quarter. If you lose by 50 in the first half against the same team, you have no rest in between. It's probably gonna be a Bulls first quarter spot. That's probably exactly what it's gonna be. Bulls first quarter, and that's what I said in the Discord. Am I putting my money on it? Absolutely not. I have no money to put on the Bulls. My bankroll says no Bulls money. You can get a +2.5, -122 on FanDuel right now. It looks like 1.5 everywhere else. Bulls first quarter money line would probably be the top play in this game outside of that under 236.5. That's my thought. Oh, never mind. He says, I mean Pistons. I would go opposite, but I wouldn't trust them for the full game like Justin does in the chat, though. That's just my thought process. Next game, let's go over. We spent way too much time on that one already. I didn't mess around and didn't even add the rest of the games. Let me go back and add them real quick. It's about 50 more games on the board for today, so let's just add those. Let's see. Y'all bear with me for 1 second. Now, these were the games that I didn't really get into too much, but let's talk about them. All right, so now next game up should be, there we go, Magic and Heat. 13.5 point favorites are the Oklahoma City Thunder here. Yeah, open 12.5, looks like 13.5 total, 219 up to 219.5. So I was really hoping, when I started handicapping this yesterday, I was really hoping that Chet wasn't rolled out. Because I was just going to lay the points with OKC. And I mean, that's still the way that I would look. And I was going to take the Miami Heat team total under. Just a play on OKC being so strong defensively, man. This team is, since they've gotten Chet back, defense has been crazy good. And the Miami Heat just kind of struggling offensively in their last handful of games. And I think that it continues here. I think that we still see Miami continue to struggle. This is only the second game after the trade for Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell and whoever else is that they traded for. This is the worst offense over the last 5 games, averaging they got an offensive rating of 105.5, playing at the 4th slowest pace against the 10th easiest schedule. OKC been at the crib, they're rested, back to doing what they do. Last 5 games, back to number 1 defensive rated team, which is a 105.9 defensive rating. Number 1 in efficiency differential. They are plus 24 is what they're outscoring their opponents by over the last 5 games. Second best offensive rated team as well last 5 games. They have played the 3rd easiest strength of schedule, but how difficult is the Miami Heat? Like, also for the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero, and the beat reporter tweeted this out yesterday, but Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. did not travel with the team. They could potentially, catch a separate flight if they are going to be up for this game. With it being last game for the All-Star break, I kind of expect them not to play. Both of them are dealing with an illness. Kevin Love is out for personal reasons. And then, like I said, Chet ended up being ruled out yesterday evening. OKC, if we remember back to early this season, they beat Miami. They were actually a 1-point road favorite. It's crazy to think OKC was laying a point, but they were laying a point. I vividly remember that game. They were laying a point because Miami was playing. OKC was on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think they had beat Orlando the night before. Everybody was like, "Oh, Miami, short dog. Like, let's take them." OKC is excellent on back-to-backs this season. So they were only laying a point in that game. They ended up winning that game pretty comfortably. I think they won by like 7 or 8. I don't think I wrote it in my notes. It did stay under the 217.5. OKC has dominated Miami. They've won 3 straight. They've covered 5 of the last 6 against this Heat team. And like I said, Miami not in good form. They're 3-7 against the number in their last 10 games, only 4-6 straight up. Lost back-to-back to Brooklyn and against Boston. Tons of travel as well. 7 straight games they've had to travel for. They played 4 straight road games, then went to Boston. Lost that game by 18. Now potentially no Tyler Hero. And it's the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow. So not a great spot for Miami here. OKC also playing first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game against the Timberwolves tomorrow. It is the second straight home game for them, and they've won 6 in a row, all by double digits. They're 7-2-1 to the over because, like I said, their offense has just been clicking. Second in offensive rating, first in defensive rating. We know that they're the best defense at home. They're actually number 1 all across the board. 105 defensive rating at home, on the road, full season, in last 5 games, 105.9 defensive rating. So no matter where they are, the defense comes to play. I think they lock up Miami. I do think that they lock up this Miami offense. Miami also plays very, very slow. So potentially a team total under, but not anything that I looked at. Here's the numbers with Chet Holmgren on the floor, though, just so we can remember, just so you can put this in your notes for after the All-Star break. It's only a 31-minute sample so far, but OKC has a defensive rating of 95 with Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor. It's like I said, it's only 31 minutes, but they have an offensive rating of a 129, which means that they are plus 34 in net rating with those 2 guys on the floor. So without Hero, I'm not sure if Miami gets to 95 points today. Their team total for today is, real quick, Miami is 103.5. So potential look towards Miami under 103.5. Maybe first half under, just because OKC takes their foot off the gas because they got it on the first leg of a back-to-back for tomorrow. And if a game gets into a blowout, I can see them resting some starters. So that's my thought process on this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Jimmy J says he got Miami team total under 105.5. Yeah, it is 102.5 on most books. 103.5 is available on BetMGM right now, and it's 101.5 on Bally Bet as well. So shout out to you for getting the best of the number. Jacob says he got 102.5. So people thinking the same thing. GLB says if it ain't broke, just keep taking OKC. I do lean them on the points as well. If Tyler Hero plays, this number may shrink by a point. Like it may be like a 12, or Jaime Jaquez Jr. is in. It may shrink a little bit. OKC just want to make sure they don't add anybody to the injury report late, being that it is first leg of a back-to-back. One of the reasons I haven't put it in my pocket yet. Said Jalen Williams over his points and rebounds. J-Dub PRA over, so some J-Dub love here. Now Ali says I'm going SGP Thunder money line and plus the 13.5. So she thinks they can keep it within the number. OKC minus 13.5. I'm not betting against them at home, and I agree with that. D-Bookie. Already said Chet was ruled out. What up, Scott? It says OKC by 20. Miami under 100. Let's eat. Took OKC, of course. Also, team total over. So he likes the over 216. Okay. All right, cool. Next game up. Don't sound like we like that one too much. Me either. Next one is the Kings and the Pelicans. This was a game that I didn't get into too deeply. I didn't do a lot of research on this game, so let's just look at it real quick. Kings and Pelicans. I know the Pelicans have been god awful defensively. Let's look at it situationally, though. One thing I know about the Kings is this. So this is third matchup of the season. New Orleans is actually has covered both games so far. I think this might be the longest ATS streak in the league. New Orleans has actually covered. I think it's 8 straight games. 8 straight spreads against the Kings. 8 straight spread against the Kings. That trend alone is enough to make me only want to look towards the Pelicans here. I know Sacramento, and then when I think about Sacramento, they're coming off an overtime game. Sometimes coming off an overtime game doesn't mean that much. I think early in the season, this is something I'm gonna start tracking as well. I feel like a lot of, just real quick, just kind of give you betting advice from just some reflection from myself. So, like when I look into these situational spots, 3rd and 4 nights, 4th and 6 nights, 5th and 7, 6 and 9, 7 and 11. Sometimes I don't think that means as much. I'm learning now that I don't think that means as much early in the season. I think on the back end of the season, we'll start to see some of those spots be absolute fade spots because you got the rookie wall that you're going to hit. You got, certain players. Just the course of the season, it's a grind, right? So I think those situational spots will show up more later in the season. But, we're very close to the All-Star game. We played Most teams have played 50-plus games at this point. I think all teams have played 50-plus games at this point. So I do think Sacramento coming off that overtime game, first win, they actually beat New Orleans as well. So they just beat New Orleans. But first, they didn't even cover in that game. So I don't want to lay points with Sacramento here. They are 2-7-1 against the spread in their last 10 games, 7-3 to the over. Not a team that plays a lot of defense. And if you're not going to play defense, how can I expect you to win the game like Ski always talks about? Ski says that all the time. I can't lay points with this team. I know the Pelicans are, pretty short-handed, but if CJ McCollum gets ruled in, he's listed as questionable. I do think the Pelicans can keep this game within the number. I really, really do. Excuse me. The Sacramento Kings have not covered a game since they made the trade. I think that first game was against Orlando. They got smoked at home. Lost outright to Portland. They beat the Pelicans, but barely covered the number. Well, it was 7. And they didn't cover, but the late number, I guess, was 8, and it was a push. And then they were 1-point favorites, and they won the game by 1 against the Dallas team that was very, very injury depleted. So, Sacramento's not a team I'm laying points with right now. I know the Pelicans have been god awful, only 1-9 straight up in their last 10 games, 2-7-1 against the spread. But they're back at home now off of a 4-game road trip. They have played 7 of their last 8 games on the road, so it's not a great situational spot. And these two teams play again tomorrow. I think I like Pelicans here a little bit more than I like the Kings. I know I like the Pelicans more than I like the Kings, especially with the Kings coming off an overtime game and an overtime win. I think the Pelicans got enough to keep this within the number, especially if CJ gets rolled in. So those are my thoughts. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything as far as the injury report for the Kings. The Kings got a pretty clean injury report here. I think they got enough. Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson coming off a bunch of losses in a row. And real quick, let's just look at and strength of schedule. The Kings are 18th offensive rating, 18th in defensive rating, playing at the 13th fastest pace against the 6th easiest schedule last 5 games. The Pelicans are 23rd offensive rated, the worst defensive rated team, playing at the 5th fastest pace, but against the strongest strength of schedule. Yeah, we got to think about that. The Pelicans have been playing against the cream of the crop. Just lost to OKC, Now, granted, they lost to Sacramento, but just lost to OKC. 2 of these losses as well came against the Denver Nuggets, who are absolutely balling right now, and they lost to the Celtics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teams that are top 3, top 4 in their respective conferences. Yeah, I'll take the Pels here plus the points if I had to play this one. I don't know if I'll get there, but I think plus 5.5. Let's see if there's some 6s out there. Is the right side. I'm just talking this one out. This is the side that I would want to be on. 2 teams not playing defense. Give me the points with the home dog at the crib. Yeah, you can get a plus 5.5. This number is coming down to 5, 4.5 on ESPN Bet. Maybe that's indicative of CJ McCollum not playing. CJ McCollum potentially coming back. He was ruled out for personal reasons. I'm not sure what those reasons were, but you can get it's plus 118. I don't really want to lay a plus 118, but you can get a plus 5 on most books. That's the side that I would want to be on here. And I know people probably like Trey Murphy. It makes a lot of sense. I would be looking at Trey Murphy in this game. Sabonis should eat again. Like, that wouldn't surprise me either. Maybe I'll get there on one of those props, but not anything that I looked into at all. Let's see what the thought processes are here on this one. OKC team total over. Kings -4 for Jacob. I will be on the opposite side of that. Jacob didn't bet it, but I will be on the opposite side. Not laying points with the Kings. OKC first half -7.5. They're going to run Miami out of the gym in the first half so they can rest for tomorrow. I can see that, Eric. I could definitely see that. Now, Ellie says Pelicans money line. Kings are Bulls 2.0. That's a fact. They absolutely are. Appreciate you, Charles. So you done ran errands and Chris still on. Yeah, still trying to find some winners, man. Talking about, especially these later games, I didn't do too much research on. Kings won last game by 1. No overtime. Kings didn't go to overtime with the Dallas Mavericks. This is what I be talking about, man. Some people just be talking. Let's see. Trey Murphy over his points, rebounds, and assists. They do play tomorrow as well in New Orleans. I did see that. Monk assists, Sabonis points plus rebounds. All right, cool. Let's jump over to the next game. It'd be Pelicans plus the points for me in this game. Not laying with the Kings, especially on the road. Next game, Bucks and the Timberwolves. Pretty simple handicap here. I didn't look into the matchup too much, but I know I'm not laying points with the Timberwolves at home. That's really what it comes down to for me. I talked about this in their last game. Not a team you want to lay points with at home. So let's go to injury report real quick. We got Giannis, of course, is out throughout the All-Star break. Damian Lillard, I think, is listed as probable. And then Mike Conley is listed as questionable. I'm not sure if he's going to play. Anthony Edwards also listed as questionable. No Dante DiVincenzo, no Julius Randle. And the Timberwolves also coming off an absolute beatdown against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bucks also lost their last game against the Golden State Warriors at home. And I want to say this is first leg of a back-to-back for one of these teams. This total has come down from 227 down to 224.5, and the spread has come down from 7 down to 6. I think 6 is the consensus right now. 6.5 is the consensus. So let's look into it real quick. All right, so first matchup of the season. These teams have alternated wins and losses in the last 3 matchups. The Bucks are not in good form. 3-7 straight up, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. They are 1-8 in their last 1-7 in their last 8 games against the spread. This is their last game before the All-Star break. They play the Clippers after the break. The Timberwolves are 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. 7-3 to the over as well. They had actually won and covered 3 straight games before losing to the Cavs. And this is the first leg of a home back-to-back with OKC coming to town tomorrow. So you could argue that Minnesota probably wants to take tomorrow's game a little bit more serious, but I feel like because it's a conference game versus this game not being a conference game, could they potentially overlook the Bucks without Giannis? I think this is what the Timberwolves do. But for as bad as the Timberwolves have been at home, and I want to put some numbers to this because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm talking. So if we look at the Timberwolves at home, laying points, they are 7-17 against the spread, covering 29.2% of their games. They have covered 3 straight, but that was against the Bulls, the Rockets, and the Trailblazers. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. Before that, they had actually failed to cover 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 games in a row they had actually failed to cover. And like I said, over the full course of the season, they're winning by an average of 4 points at home, 7-17 against the spread as a home favorite. So as bad as they've been as a home favorite, I feel like the Bucks on the road have been just as bad. The Bucks are 10-16 against the spread on the road, 38.5%, losing by an average of 3 points. They've actually failed to cover 5 straight games on the road. Got smoked by the Blazers, smoked by the Spurs, lost the games outright, lost to the Thunder, beat the Hornets but didn't cover. That was a game without Giannis. Giannis didn't play in that game. And then they just lost to the Hawks and they were laying points in that spot as well. So Bucks are not it on the road. At home, much more profitable team. If they're a road dog, they are 3-8 straight up, 5-6 against the spread, losing by an average of 8 points, 7-4 to the under. So 3 straight games they failed to cover against the Knicks, the Clippers, and the Thunder when they were road dogs. And 4 of their last 5 games, they failed to cover against the Cavaliers. Only win recently came against the Bulls. That was 2 days before Christmas. They're averaging 105 points in this spot as well. So maybe we look towards the Bucks team total under. Without Giannis on the road, the Timberwolves play at a pretty slow pace. I think that's the way that I would look in this one. Probably a Bucks team total under. Timberwolves off a loss as well. Let's see. Timberwolves are 15th in defensive rating last 5 games. At home, they're the 9th best defensive rated team. The Bucks are 20th in offensive rating last 5 games. Makes sense without Giannis. Playing at the 10th fastest pace. On the road, they are 16th in offensive rating. At home, they're 11th in offensive rating. So what is the Bucks team total under? What is the Bucks team total today? I think that's the way that I would look. Maybe a full game under as well, though. The Bucks defense, I know it does not show up as well on the road, though. They are the Bucks at home, 7th best defensive rated team. On the road, 23rd in defensive rating. So they're giving up about 7 more points per possession on the road. The Bucks are Milwaukee, 109.5. Milwaukee team total under 109.5. They have an offensive rating on the road of 113, but I'm pretty sure that's a lot has to do with Giannis. The Timberwolves defensive rating at home is not that great, 111. But I think they can hold this Bucks team down. I really, really do. Especially if the Bucks aren't able to go too crazy from the 3-point line. A lot of their shots all come at the 3-point line. And like I said, the Minnesota Timberwolves don't play fast. 19th in pace last 5 games, 24th in pace over the full season, at home specifically, and 24th over the full season as well. So yeah, I think team total under would be my look here. That would be my look. Would be a Milwaukee team total under. I think it's the best look here. Let's see what you guys are thinking. If we have any thoughts. All good, bro. All good. I thought you was trolling. It's just so many games on that I'm trying to make sure I give out accurate information. And I get it how you can mess up something like that. So no disrespect, all love. Kings didn't go to overtime. I watched them go to overtime. Oh yeah, he said he was tripping though, Justin. He didn't mean that. I thought I watched them go to overtime too. I was watching the game. Scott says Wolves blow them out. Giannis no Bucks. I'm off the Wolves. I'm on the Wolves. Tasha says Wolves by 7 and 8. Jacob says here's how I played it. Bucks plus 7. If Edwards out, cash out. Cash out if Wolves in. Throwing me off there, Jacob. I don't know what you're talking about. Wolves team total over for Tasha. That could potentially be a look as well. Jimmy says Timberwolves at home, but definitely thinking how disappointed how they disappoint, but been good at home recently. I took Wolves -6. Okay. Both teams don't cover somehow. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like, in my opinion. Dame under for Taylor, under 7.5 assists. Simple here. Says Wolves allowed the 5th fewest assists. First team's 10th or better. He's under in 10 of his 14 games, averaging 6.6. I like this a lot, Taylor. I typically like Taylor plays, man. They correlate with what I'm thinking as well. Dame under his 7.5 assists. Based on the Timberwolves defense. I do think that it correlates with the Milwaukee team total under without Giannis as well. Let's real quick. I want to actually go look at that and see how many assists Dame's averaging without Giannis in the games. So bear with me for a second. Let's just go look at that real quick. Dame assists 7.5. It's juiced to the over at -140, which means you can get a pretty good number. He's averaging right at 7.4 on the full season. Games without Giannis, he's averaging, I don't like that. He's averaging 9.7. Okay. So the games he went over were against the Heat, the Bulls, the Hornets, the Hawks. 76ers went under in this last game against the Golden State Warriors. What about these games where he's playing against a team that is top 10 in assists allowed? Because they are 5th best in assists. Okay. So yeah, outside of the Charlotte game, he has stayed under back-to-back games, but barely stayed under. 7 against Cleveland and 7 against the Golden State Warriors. I feel like situationally, the Bucks are in a pretty bad spot. Didn't I say that, or did I not say that? Yeah, Milwaukee, 7 game and 11 nights here. 7 games and 11 nights for Milwaukee. This is not a great spot for the Bucks. I like this look a lot. I do like this a lot. Okay, I'll add it to the short list. Yeah, I think this has to be 4th game in 6 nights for the Bucks. First one on the road too. Let's just look at that real quick. I didn't look into that situationally. The Bucks are in a bad situational spot here though. Yeah, 3rd and 4, 4th and 6 for the Bucks here. Yeah, it could be a spot where they run out of gas offensively. I like that team total under 109.5 and Dame under his assists here. Like the look from Taylor a lot. All right, let's see what else. Not sure if he's gonna play yet. Let's see. He Wolves by 12, Crippy says. Okay. Chad says he likes Wolves 1-10. Should be plus 170 or so. I could see that, Chad. This is one game where I would probably play a 1-10. I like it. I like that a lot. It says on FanDuel, sign him up. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win by double digits either. I think the Bucks can keep it within the number for sure. I'm gonna write this down too. I like this by Chad. So Minnesota win margin 1-10. Okay, I like that a lot. And I always like that you can get it at plus money too. Lingowick says, and over his threes and points over, he has been cashing. And it's been absolutely on fire if you've been paying attention. I think he had 8 of 15 threes in that last game against Cleveland. And they don't have a lot of offense without Dante DiVincenzo and without Julius Randle there. So I would agree with that. Would definitely agree with that. Let's go next game. We got the Suns and the Rockets are next. This is a game that I didn't look into at all. Did not look into this game at all. So let's look into the Phoenix Suns and the Houston Rockets. Boy, I wish I had faded the Suns yesterday. Neither here nor there, though. It's over now. All right, so let's go look into this game real quick. So Phoenix Suns, Houston Rockets. I wrote in my notes last night that this was at did we even have a line? No, we actually didn't have a line when I was looking into this game yesterday. Injury report first and foremost. We got Sengun. I know he is listed as questionable, which is probably one of the reasons I skipped over this game. Sengun he did play, right? He did play in that game on Sunday, but it was a back injury. Lumbar spasm, so kind of like back spasms. it would surprise me, I guess, with back spasms if he would play in this game. I know back spasms can be like on setting, off setting, like they can come and go. Fred VanVleet is out though, right? Yeah, Fred VanVleet is out. Jabari Smith Jr. is out. Houston's offense does not look good, man. They have not looked good recently. I know we've been fading them. I think even with the rest advantage here, maybe you continue to fade them. Let's see. For Phoenix, they can submit their injury report late, of course. I forgot Meaches got traded. I said that Meaches was on Charlotte earlier. My apologies for that. Meaches is now in Phoenix. He's listed as game time decision. Bradley Beal was out yesterday. Caleb Martin also missed yesterday's game. Cody Martin, I'm sorry, also missed yesterday's game. And they saying that he probably won't play until after the All-Star break. So probably be missing him again. First thing I want to do is I want to look at the Suns, who I think of the Suns as an old team. I want to look at the Suns with no rest. They are, Jesus Christ, 2-8 straight up, 2-7-1 against the spread. That does not make me want to back them at all. They failed to cover their last two. Lost to the Trailblazers in this spot, lost to the Nuggets in this spot. Got smoked in both of those games. I know Kevin Durant was missing from both of those games as well. So Suns with no rest, struggle. Let's add that they have to travel. So previous site does not equal current site. They had the travel. They are 1-2 straight up, 2-1 against the spread, but 3-0 to the under. They've stayed under their team total in all three games so far. And they've had to travel for the next game. Only one of these games was on the road. It came against Golden State a couple days after Christmas. 3-0 to the under. What's the total in this game? $223.5 up to $224.5 here. Okay. All right. So I like this under trend. These games are averaging 212 points. If Sengun doesn't play, that makes a ton of sense. I just watched this Houston team score 94 points against Toronto the other day. I know that the Suns' defense is not good. Don't get it twisted. But that game did stay under yesterday. Talked about the under on Cal's show. Houston is struggling offensively, back-to-back unders. They lost to Dallas, beat Toronto, only scored 94 points. Lost to Minnesota. Yeah, they're in really bad form right now. What is that? 6 straight losses. 1-6 in their last 7 games. But they do have the rest advantage. They do have 2 days of rest as well here. So that's something to take into consideration. And the Suns are god-awful, man. This is not a good basketball team. 4-6 straight up, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. Durant, no Durant. Boy. Is first leg of a back-to-back, though. So Phoenix will be done after tonight before the All-Star break. Houston actually plays again tomorrow. They got Golden State, but they don't have to travel at all. Okay. All right. So knowing all that, I know. Phoenix is 28th defensively last 5 games. That does not make me want to take an under. 24th in pace, playing against the 7th strongest strength of schedule, 15th in offensive rating. Houston, 28th in offensive rating. Like I said, I know that their offense have been struggling. 109.9 offensive rating, 13th in defensive rating, 24th in pace last 5 games. So both of these teams playing very, very slow, 96.2 pace. I think I want to play under, but I also got to wait for Sengun. Sengun means a lot. If you take Sengun and Fred VanVleet, I just feel like they don't have a backup point guard that's able to get the offense to run the way that it's supposed to. So I kind of want to take under. I hate when I want to take under. Let's see. All right. So Sengun and Fred VanVleet on-off numbers. So with VanVleet off and Sengun on, VanVleet off. Hold on. All right, hold on. Make sure I'm reading this right. All right, VanVleet off, Sengun on, 115 offensive rating, 111 defensive rating. They're plus 3.83. Both of them off. They got a 108 offensive rating and a 109 defensive rating. So can't lay points with Houston without Fred VanVleet and Sengun. They're actually a -1 in net rating without those two players on the floor. Even with all that said, you still got to wait on the injury report to see if anybody going to rest for the Suns. Kevin Durant didn't play. He came back yesterday. He could potentially rest on the second leg of a back-to-back, being that yesterday was his first game back. This game, way too many question marks in my opinion. I'm going to stay off of this one. I'm staying off of this one. I'm trying to give y'all something. I have nothing, though. Let's see what if we have thoughts on this one. Rockets -5.5 for Jacob. I can't do it without Sengun. Sometimes you just gotta wait, man. Sometimes you gotta wait. Manny says he's gonna tell under 7.5 assists. Jacob says he'll take Dame over his points. Taylor says he's over in 5 of 7 games without Giannis, but his 5 over games were versus teams 14 for worse in assists allowed. 2 unders were against Cavs and Golden State, 12th and 8th in assists allowed. I love this, Taylor. I do love this look a lot, man. I think it correlates with their team total to stay under 109.5 as well. So I think we got 2 winners there. We'll see if I pull the trigger on either one of them. Jacob says, just fading the worst ATS team in the NBA. They are bad, man. They are really, really bad. We don't know who's going to play for Phoenix yet, Cup of Joe. We'll see how that goes, man. Not sure. Niam Walker says, I'd rather take Kuzma under 3.5 assists. Dame dead went over 4 of his 5. Yeah, maybe a look towards Kuzma as well. I can see that. Savant says Phoenix and Houston 1-4 straight up and ATS in the last 5. I'm staying away from the game altogether. No props, nothing. Chad says, Chris, I know Grizzlies cash, but trust me, the feeling when Suns cut it down to 4 when they were up 20 all game was nerve. I bet it was. I did when I saw the first half spread, because I fell asleep on the sofa watching the game. I woke up, it was halftime, and I looked at the first half and I was like, dang, Memphis. I know Memphis wasn't supposed to be this easy. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, Phoenix can come back. I should probably take a live spread. I just went straight to sleep. I didn't take it, but a live spread, of course, would have cashed that bet, whatever the number was. I don't even know what it was, but it definitely would have cashed. Let's see. Rockets. Justin likes over. Ugh. I agree with this. GLB says back spasm means you're not playing anytime soon. I know from experience, and I agree. I've seen it where it's not affecting people at all, and then all of a sudden they can't even move. I've seen both. Just depending on how bad the spasms are. And Dirty Ray, this is right, Jerry. He says Suns are terrible. Suns are terrible. We just talked about that on the second leg of a back-to-back. 2-7-1 against the number. If we let's look at the Rockets real quick as a home favorite with rest. Rockets are 11-4 straight up, 8-6-1 against the spread if they're a home favorite, not playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. A +11 in point differential. But I mean, the last 3 they failed to cover. Failed to cover against the Grizzlies. They were laying 3. They were laying 2.5. Won the game by 2. We're laying 7.5 against the Pistons. Lost outright. This was on MLK Day. I remember that one. And against the Nets, they lost outright as well. They were laying 13. Lost that game outright by 14? Lost it outright by 12. My fault. I can't quite get here. I can't quite get there on the side. I can't. If the Rockets are home favorites and their opponents are unrested, they're 3-0 to the under. That's what we keep coming back to. 3-0 to the under. The Rockets are averaging 101 points and their opponents are averaging 100 points. The Rockets go under at home with the rest advantage. That's the thing that keeps coming back to me is under. And the total is still going up, though. 225, I see it at right now. Ooh, I don't like it. I don't like it, man. All right, let's see what else we got. Better Show on Risk says, I'm fading the Rockets team total. Rockets team total points at 116. They average 113. The Suns only allow 106 in the last 5 games. Chad says this game is disgusting for how much talent is on the floor. They cannot close without Fred VanVleet, meaning I cannot lay points with him, Chad. I definitely agree with you. Niley says Suns covered, book over his points. What up, Big Algier? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says, where can I get a hat? You can just email me. I'll send you one. Email me, and I'll get back to you and get your address and pricing and all that stuff. But yeah, just email me at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's if you want a hat. I can definitely get you one. I got a couple made. Got like probably 10 made. Chaz said, shout out Bobo, worked hard yesterday. Finally as a starter. Yeah, he was hitting early. I did see that. Mark says he leans first half for the Rockets here. 2K legend, Bobo. All right, cool. Let's jump into the next one. We got Lakers and Jazz, 8.5. Yeah, still 8.5 total. Not moving a lot. 236.5. So Lakers listed Luka as questionable, enough for me to just skip right over this game. I definitely want him in. Should he play? I would think so. Who knows what Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick got up their sleeve, man. LeBron also listed as probable. I think Austin Reeves is listed as probable as well. These two teams, of course, just played 2 nights ago. Lakers dominated the Utah Jazz, scored 132 points in that game. Looking at the Jazz injury report, looks like they should be fully healthy outside of KJ Martin and Colin Sexton. So maybe a look towards Isaiah Collier over his rebounds and assists again. I know he's been absolutely going crazy. Cashed the line the other day with no Colin Sexton, him being in the starting lineup, only having Keontae George behind him. Kind of makes me want to play on Isaiah Collier again. I don't want to lay this many points with the Lakers, even though they've been really, really good. Jazz, I talked about this the other day. The Jazz had actually been covering against the Lakers. They covered the matchup earlier this season against the Lakers as well in Utah. I remember that game. I think Lakers won the second leg of a back-to-back in that game. But the Lakers have been hooping, man. 3rd in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, 2nd overall in efficiency differential of plus 15.2 last 5 games, 11th in pace, 10th in strength of schedule. The Jazz, god-awful defensively, 124.3 defensive rating, 16th in offensive rating, playing at the 7th fastest pace against the 5th strongest strength of schedule last 5 games. And let's see real quick if these are the last games for both of these teams. I want to say that they are. Let's just double check. Yeah, Lakers don't play again until they play Charlotte after the All-Star break. And Lakers have actually covered. Man, this team is on fire. 9-1 straight up, 8-1-1 against the number, 7-3 to the over last 10. They've covered 6 straight games. Let's see if all these have been by double digits. They beat the Jazz by 19, beat the Pacers by 7 as a 4.5-point dog on Sunday or Saturday. I think on Saturday. Beat Golden State by 8 as a 4.5-point favorite. Beat the Clippers by 25 as an 8.5-point dog. Beat the Knicks by 16, no AD, as 11-point dogs. Beat the Wizards by 36 as an 8.5-point road favorite. The Jazz are 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. First game back home after a 3-game road trip. They are 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games after covering 3 straight. They covered against the Warriors, covered against the Pacers, and covered against the Magic. And this is first leg of a back-to-back for them. They actually got the Clippers coming to town tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to do with this one, man. Maybe a look towards an assist prop for Isaiah Collier, or if LeBron doesn't, if Luka doesn't play, maybe it's Bron assists. I would take probably Bron rebounds and assists with the Lakers not having a true big. Alex Len is not a big in my opinion. I think Alex Len is going to be terrible for the Lakers. I'm not happy with that pickup. FYI, Alex Len averages like 9 minutes per game. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. He actually can't guard anybody either. He's going to be terrible in the drop coverage that he typically plays. So I'm not big on Alex Len. I'm not excited about adding him, even though we needed a big. We could have signed anybody else. Just bring Dwight back. Like, what are we doing? But I'm getting off on a tangent. Let's see what the thoughts are here. Lakers win, Jazz cover, D-Bookie says. This has to be a Jazz, but no, Jazz says. Man, the Jazz, they actually underperforming recently. So if you look back, I didn't think that they would be that bad against the Lakers. I actually didn't. I didn't think that they would lose by 19 to the Lakers. The Lakers don't even have a true big. It just lets you know how bad they are defensively. 4 straight overs for this team. They gave up 132 to the Lakers, 130 to the Clippers, 135 to the Phoenix Suns, and 128 to the Golden State Warriors. Their defense is horrible, but it should be better because you got Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and John Collins back. So I'm not getting it right now for the Jazz. But I would think that they could keep it within the number. It's just a couple of teams that are so bad that I'm not putting any of my money on. And I'm with you, Chad. The Jazz are one of those teams. Over for Manny, Jazz plus 8.5. Cash cow Collier time tonight, J. Steve says. I could understand that. Adam says Lakers are on fire right now. I'm riding the Laker wave. I can see that. Let's see. Jazz are 2-1 against the spread at home against the Lakers, covering the number. I took the plus 8.5. Bet at your own risk, says. It makes sense. Justin says he's going to run it back over 236.5 in his pocket. When the new energy from the excitement wears off, the Lakers will be a great fade, Chad says. That energy is lasting though, Chad. Bro, this was it actually wasn't even with Luka. This was like before Luka, man. I think they played the Wizards on a Monday, like 3 weeks ago, it feels like at this point. I remember talking about the game, and they had just lost to Philly. Remember, AD got hurt in the first quarter of Philly. That was the last time we saw AD in a Lakers jersey. And since then, Lakers have been absolutely on a roll, man. I just kind of read the games out, so I'm not going to do it all over again. But the Lakers just been absolutely on a roll, man. This team has been good money every single game. 6 straight covers. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. JJ Redick, what he giving them boys before the game, but they've been really good. Dirty Jerry says Lakers 9-1 first half. I'm guessing that's ATS. Definitely not, Malik. I'm not touching the Bulls, bro. Somebody gave me a free bet. I wouldn't bet the Bulls. Niley says Lakers no brainer and betting to win the division and conference. Luka over his points. Lakers and my Hawks are ATS ATMs lately. Check it out. And that's a fact. Justin, I said that. Lakers are 8-1-1 against the spread. The Hawks are 8-2 against the spread last 10 games. Hawks OKC spread so far for Scott. Jackson Hayes points over as well, Niley says. Collier over points, rebounds, and assists. I figure he's going to be super popular today. A lot of people love Isaiah Collier, so that makes a lot of sense. He's been cashing, so couldn't talk anybody off there. Taylor says Jackson Hayes under his 7.5 rebounds and assists. He had 2 rebounds, 5 rebound chances, and 2 assists on 2 potentials. Jazz also allowed a 6th least rebounds in the league. He has to deal with Kessler, so I don't see him see how he gets that much over the glass. This makes sense, especially if we think Alex Len's going to be a part of the rotation today. We'll see how it goes, though. I would be taking the under before I took the over on Jackson Hayes, though. Saturated says my Bulls tried to set basketball back a few decades last night. They just doing what they're supposed to, man. That's why I'm not betting on them, though. not betting just not betting Bulls games at all, because if I bet the Bulls to win, they'll repeat last night's performance. If I bet them to lose, they'll be the Pistons from last night. So not touching it at all, man. Let's go over to the next game. We got just a couple more. Yeah, just 2 more. I did bet this one last night and sent out the minus. I think we got 4.5 on the Golden State Warriors. This line was at 3.5. Somebody mentioned it at the top of the show. I missed the number. It was on DraftKings. Missed the number because I'm outside shoveling snow. Wanted to look a little bit deeper into it and do my due diligence before. But I did give out. This only spread bet that I made. I took Golden State minus the 4.5 for a couple different reasons. First one is the Dallas Mavericks don't have a true center. For anybody who got a chance to watch them play against the Sacramento Kings, Daniel Gafford limped off the floor. He's out, I think, for a while. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks with the right ankle sprain or right knee sprain. So now you don't have AD, you don't have Daniel Gafford, you don't have Derek Lively, you don't have Dwight Powell, you don't got Maxi Kleber. PJ Washington is the other big that potentially might start at center. He's also listed as questionable. So, and I mean, does he get the day off? Maybe, probably so. I'm thinking yes. I mean, he had a right ankle sprain. Why would you want to make him play in this game today when you got a game tomorrow against Miami in Dallas, and the All-Star break is right around the corner, man? It just feels like Dallas is kind of limping their way to the finish line here. So I know that the line is moved. When I look at the Golden State Warriors, they've actually started to put it together a little bit. And I'm not a big Golden State Warriors fan, especially against the spread. And is Kyrie capable of hitting one of those dagger 3-pointers that crushed my soul against the Timberwolves about 3 weeks ago? Absolutely, he is. It's hard for me to get that out of my mind, if I'm being honest with y'all. That one really stung a lot. So when I look at Golden State last few games since the Jimmy Butler trade, they beat the Bulls, and it's the Bulls, so take it with a grain of salt. But they beat the Bulls by 21. They beat the Bucks by 14. Won and covered both of those spreads. 3 straight overs. The offense is looking a little better. I think Jimmy Butler has played really well, kind of taking some pressure off Steph. But Steph has also had 2 back-to-back really good games. I think he had 38 against the Bucks, and then he also dropped 34 against the Bulls. And Jimmy Butler also 25 points against Chicago, and then he also had a pretty good game in the other game against the Bucks as well. Jimmy had 20 points. So I just like that. I like what Golden State's doing right now. The other thing that really was kind of buy on, in my opinion, was I heard Coach Steve Kerr say, the Bucks game could have. They asked him about the Bucks game before the game, how it could potentially be trappy without Giannis being there, and he said, "Oh, whoa, we're so bad right now." Pretty much what he was saying is we're so bad right now, we can't afford to give away games. We don't have any games where we could just walk in and think that we're supposed to win the game. So I do expect them to continue to play with that same energy and effort. This is not the greatest spot as far as situational. They are on the first leg of a back-to-back. They also are playing their 5th straight road game, and they'll finish out the road trip against the Houston Rockets tomorrow. But I do think that they should be able to keep it going here today. This line, like I said, is moved in my direction. Hopefully that's good. The Warriors are much better on the road as a favorite than they are at home as a favorite, just to put some numbers to that. They are, let me wait for this to populate real quick. But the Warriors are, and this is one of the reasons I bet them. I really liked them in the last game. I don't think I bet them, but I really liked them in the last game against the Bucks. The Bucks were in a bad situational spot, and I said that they were the best spot on the board. I think Steph was listed as questionable in that game, and they don't have anybody on the injury report outside of Kuminga for today's game. So let's see if I can get this to populate. Yeah, only 6-6 against the number, but they're +9 in point differential as a road favorite. Like I said, they've covered back-to-back games after failing to cover against the Jazz, and I think the Mavs are just kind of not buy on right now. Kind of not buy on. All of my numbers that I look at from a situational perspective, also like the Golden State Warriors, they are 11th in offensive rating, 11th in defensive rating, about a +6 in point differential last 5 games, which is 8th overall. Playing at the 8th fastest pace against the 10th easiest schedule. Dallas is 12th in offensive rating, but 25th in defensive rating at a 123.6. They're also coming off the overtime game, playing at the 13th slowest pace against the third strongest strength of schedule. So, yeah, I just feel like Golden State. I know they're not a team that attacks the rim a lot, but they should be able to get downhill, get in the paint, and score whenever they like to in this game, without Dallas having a true center. Potentially no Derek Lively either. I mean, potentially no PJ Washington either. So that's my take on this one. Only spread that I played. Warriors -3.5 for Jacob. He did get there early. GLB likes Denver third quarter. I was looking into this too, man. It's so funny GLB says this, because I was looking into Denver third quarter thinking that was the look today. I saw -110 on Hard Rock, I think, earlier today. Warriors for Nayeli. She says she likes Jimmy and Curry to go over their points prop. Let's see. Clay revenge game, hit 6 of his last 7 this season already against his former team. Warriors -5.5 at deep bookies as the Jimmy Butler effect is real. Warriors versus Lakers. in the Western Conference Finals if they don't have to play each other before. Don't know if I agree with that. I think OKC is definitely going to the Western Conference Finals, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Draymond is the biggest player on the floor, most likely. I do agree with this. Steph should absolutely light them up, especially with Dallas winning the last game that they played, right? Didn't Dallas get their revenge and they beat the Golden State Warriors in the last time that they played? Yeah, Dallas won the last time. So Golden State won the first one by 3, 120 to 117 as a 2.5-point favorite. That was the game that Steph said, you should have stayed here. You should have stayed here. And then Golden State lost the second one, 143 to 133 as a 1-point home dog. But that was the game that Luka and Kyrie were still playing. They had PJ Washington. They had Derek Lively in that game. They had Daniel Gafford off the bench. Like this is not the same team. Not the same team at all. Kyrie is overworked and underpaid. He's carrying his team. He is. He's having to right now. Crip Key says he likes the Mavs plus the points here. Best of luck to you. We'll be on opposite sides. Should come down to the wire. Seems like take the points. Okay. Mark says he played the -4.5. Yeah. Hopefully they can win the game by 2 possessions. I anticipate that they should be able to. Let's see. What else? Justin says, Chris, you got to catch the show. GLB gave out Nuggets third quarter trend. Yeah, I think I saw it. I think I saw it when he said that. I also remember we played Nuggets against who they playing against? They were playing against it wasn't Portland. It was who was it? It was the Pelicans. I gave out Denver third quarter -3.5 like 3 games ago. I think they won the third quarter by like 5 or 6 points every single game. And I still got it pulled up I still got it pulled up. Yeah, I still got it pulled up. So they are the third best point differential team are the Nuggets in the third quarter. They're a +3.1. OKC is a +3.6 and Boston is actually a +3.3. But Denver, they're really good. Third quarter averaged the second most points in the NBA, 31.6. So yeah, it was a very strong trend. I'm not playing it today before the game, but it kind of makes sense because I feel like Portland will come out with something early and then Denver will turn it on late. So it still makes sense. Underpaid is a wild take. Yeah, Kyrie, he got a lot of money. He definitely got a lot of money for what he's having to load, right? Like to load out right now and put on his back to carry this team. I don't know, man. He could be probably throwing a couple more dollars. So yeah, it's up to 6.5 now. I took 4.5 last night. And I would probably look towards a Mavs team total under if I'm playing the spread. If I'm playing anything else in that game. The Dallas Mavericks team total is 113.5. I would go under on the Mavs team total if I'm betting anything in that game. Next game up, and the last game on the board, finally we get to the end, is the Grizzlies and the Clippers. So jaXon likes the +4.5 here. I saw this did go down to 3.5. Now it's back up to 4.5. So that money changed really, really quickly. I also see a 5 popping up here. Do the Grizzlies rest players on the second leg of a back-to-back? I'm not quite sure. The Grizzlies have been super profitable on the second leg of a back-to-back. I know that off the top of my head. Real quick, unrested this season, 7-1 straight up, 7-1 against the spread. Are the Grizzlies. The only loss came against the Warriors. Only loss. Now, however, this spot has the Clippers actually with 3 days of rest. And this will be the first time that the Memphis Grizzlies are playing against a team on the second leg of a back-to-back that has 3 days of rest. All these other games, either their opponent was also on the second leg of a back-to-back, their opponent had 1 day of rest, and then 2 games came with their opponent having 2 days of rest. But none of them has actually come with their opponent having 3 days of rest here. So let's just look into it because I didn't look in. This is one of the games I didn't make it to last night. I'm interested to see what the injury report shows in this game a little bit later, though. On the Clippers side, what we do know on the Clippers side is that Ben Simmons, boy, it's probably a good thing for the Clippers. Ben Simmons won't make his debut for this team. Reconditioning for Mr. Ben Simmons. And then on Memphis side, like I said, we kind of got to wait. They did have to exert a lot of energy to keep Phoenix from winning that game last night. They ended up winning by 7 after having I think it was a double-digit lead at halftime. So they had to lock in and play some defense. Pretty short travel from Phoenix to LA. I think we can agree on that. If I'm looking at the Clippers, no, if I'm looking at Memphis, my fault. The head-to-head, only one game Memphis did lose that one. They were getting 6 points in Memphis. They won the game outright. The Clippers beat them outright. So you got revenge here for the Clippers. The Clippers have actually beaten them 4 straight times. They've covered 3 of the last 4 spreads between these two teams as well. Memphis is 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. Outside of that one loss against OKC, this team has been really hot. They lost to OKC and they lost to the Knicks. Only 2 losses in their last 10 games. They've covered all the spreads as well outside of Houston, where they were laying 4 and won that game by 1. So couple back-to-back unders as well against OKC and Phoenix. This total is what, 237.5. For the Clippers, like I said, 3 days of rest here. They did beat the Jazz by 20, caught the Jazz in a really bad situational spot. Second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4. They beat them by 20 to get the bad taste out of their mouth after losing 3 straight games to Toronto, the Lakers, and the Indiana Pacers. And they'd actually failed to cover 4 straight spreads as well. So only 1-5 against the number last 10. 7-3 to the over. Defensively, they haven't been as locked in. And first leg of a back-to-back. They actually got to get on a flight and fly to Utah tomorrow for their last game before the break. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I don't like the situational spot for Memphis, being that it's 3 days of rest here for the Clippers. I kind of feel like this could be a Memphis early spot, right? Like if you like Memphis, maybe you want to play them early. Potentially running out of gas. 3 days of rest to 0 is a lot. I mean, that's a whole lot. If we just look at that for the season real quick, let's just see what that looks like. So rest equals 3, opponent rest equals 0. Actually, it's been terrible this season. So this season, we've only seen this happen twice, where a team has 3 days of rest and their opponent has none. And the team with 3 days of rest is actually 0-2 straight up, 2-0 to the under, 1-1 straight up. So we saw this happen with the Heat. They had 3 days of rest against OKC earlier this season. Lost that game by 7, getting 1 point. They were actually laying 1 point. And then the 76ers, boy, 76ers so bad at basketball though. They had 3 days of rest against the Hornets, and they were laying 13 and won the game by 10. So neither team has covered this spread so far this season. It's a strong under trend though. Looks like the unders have been profitable. We go back to last season, 9-4 to the under. 9-4 to the under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-1 to the under in the last 9 instances where teams have 3 days of rest. Let's just see if they're at home and a favorite. 5-2 to the under. Do the Grizzlies run out of gas here? I'm not sure. I don't really know what to do with this one, man. I do think that the Clippers are in a very good situational spot. Like I said, if I like Memphis, it's typically real quick. Let's look into some more advanced numbers real quick before we get into a quick recap. Memphis and the Clippers. All right, so Memphis. Yeah, they're in much better form right now. 6th offensive rated, 7th defensive rated, 2nd fastest pace, 6th strongest strength of schedule last 5 games. Clippers, 16th offensive rating, 16th defensive rating, 21st in pace, 26th in strength of schedule. So they played a very easy schedule as of late as well. Haven't been playing well against that weak schedule. Let's see if they should be able to generate some turnovers. I always worry about Memphis against teams that can force turnovers. I think the Knicks forced a bunch of turnovers and they lost that game. And then the same thing for OKC. They lost that game because they turned the ball over a lot as well. So Clippers, let's see if they can force some turnovers here. So Memphis last 5 games, they are 18th in turnover rate. On the full season, they're the 6th worst team at protecting the basketball. The Clippers on the full season, 5th best in turnover rate, but last 5 games, 9th best. So maybe the Clippers force some turnovers here. Don't like what I'm seeing from the Clippers defensively, though. They've really struggled, specifically guarding the 3-point shot. They're the worst defense in the NBA guarding the 3-point shot, 43.5%. in their last 5 games. On the full season, 35.2%, they're the 5th best team. So for whatever reason, the Clippers have forgot how to guard the 3-point line. And Memphis can shoot the 3. They're 10th best 3-point shooting team, 37.7% in their last 5 games. Memphis also wants to get out and run, 3rd in frequency, transition frequency, 4th in transition efficiency last 5 games. And the Clippers, god awful. They're allowing teams to run more than any other team in the NBA, and they're 3rd worst in opponent transition frequency and transition points and transition efficiency. So Clippers not doing a really good job of getting back in defense. I guess I kind of think that Memphis could run out of gas here, but maybe I'll take the points. If the Clippers do win, maybe it's within 2 possessions. So we'll see where the line goes. I want to see what the injury report happens for Memphis. Maybe they rest some players here. I don't know. I don't like that the Clippers on the first leg of a back-to-back, but I do love that they have 3 days of rest. So I think it's kind of buy-on for the Clippers, but I don't know. Memphis is really good, man. They are really good. So I'm kind of rambling now, but just kind of giving you guys my thought process on the game. Didn't look into any player props here. Let's see what we are thinking about this one. Clippers -3 for Jacob. Grizz +4.5. James Harden under 10.5 assists for Jacob. He's had 11 potential last game against the Grizzlies, so he'd have to convert every potential. The Grizzlies do a good job of giving up a limited assists. I got to look into that. Okay, I'm trying to find player props, man. These sizes and totals have been not been as profitable in my opinion in the last few games. I feel like I've been cashing more on player props, but that's why I only got one spread pick. But we'll see. Now, Ellie says, I don't think. She says, I don't know. I think the Clippers show up at home. Maybe Grizzlies cover. I like the over. Grizz first quarter, 2. Dwight Powell scored 25, Cup of Joe says. I feel like Dwight Powell should be in a pretty good spot. I'm not going to look into it just because I feel like my brain is fried. I need to take a second to just go get a workout in. Talking about basketball for 2.5 hours is a long time, man. And I was already talking about it in my own brain before I started the show. So, it's a big slate. I hate these big slates. I only got 3 plays. I'm probably going to, if I add a couple, it might be 2 more, honestly. And then everything else would be live. And all of these games start at the same time. But yeah, Norman Powell should be in a pretty good spot here. Cup of Joe. I'm looking at it right now. He scores a quarter of his points in transition. The Grizzlies give it up in transition. They're give up the 4th most points in transition. He also scores 22% of his points off spot ups. They're 21st in spot up defense. He also scores another 16% off pick and roll. They're 19th against the pick and roll ball handler. And 3 days of rest here against a fatigued Grizzly team, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, that would probably say to take Norman Powell up and over his points prop. He had 29 the last time that they played. He went 10 for 20 from the field, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, 5 for 7 from the free throw line. So I can see Norman Powell having a big game. Kyle loves Ben Simmons. Memphis off a back-to-back, had to hold off a Suns late push. Malik says Clippers. Only took the over because they are only took the over. Not only are my Grizzlies balling, averaging 124 points per game currently, the Clippers are averaging 108 and are rested. I took the over for the game. Okay. Grizzlies 7-1 on back-to-back. Just said that. Good on no rest. I agree with that. Memphis got young legs. Clippers got old legs. That are still hurting after 3 days off. I don't know if I agree with that. Grizz are smoking hot. Easy play. Jazz says clips. Man, Thompson double-double. Golden State 1-10 money line. Run it back with the Grizzlies first quarter team total over. Clippers I don't know what that means. Who would fade the Grizzlies right now? I fade them depending on the spot. Mark says I'll look at Memphis first quarter early, first half maybe. 78 Guap says Memphis going to be a bit more poised tonight. Bench looking better. Every game starting to gel together. Grizzlies spread with the money line sprinkle, I think is what he means here. Take the under if the Clippers if the Clippers win, play defense, I think is what Jason means. Okay, underdogs barking. We got some back and forth here. All right, let's jump into the quick recap, man. We're talking for way too long. And let's update this. So, based on things that I talked out throughout the show, I made the top 3 plays. Golden State minus the 4.5. Wemby under his 3.5 assists. I didn't send out the Wemby under 3.5 assists yet, so this should be red. The reason why I didn't send it out, if you listened at the beginning of the show, I said that I like Wemby under his points and assists. So I got to figure out the points and assists make more sense, and you get a better price on the under 27.5 points and assists for Wemby. I'm not sure if the line has moved yet, but I'll send out. I played the 3.5 assists already. No, did I play? I think it might be sitting in my best slip, the under 3.5 assists for Wemby. But I'll be on Wemby in some form of way, but it will be an underplay for me on Victor Wembanyama today, either under his 3.5 assists or under his 27.5 points and assists. Miles Bridges, I did play under. This should not say 277. My fault. Under 27.5 points and assists for Miles Bridges. Golden State minus the 4. San Antonio plus the 8.5 is also something that I'm interested in. Let's see if any of these have moved so far. Now that's still 28.5. Short list plays. It's going to be a lot of them. So let's get to it. So we got San Antonio plus 8, Atlanta plus 8. Let's see, Atlanta plus 8. Philly team total under 108.5. Detroit, Chicago. Can't believe I'm even putting up Chicago. Under 236.5. It's actually going back up to 237. So probably won't play that one, but I like that look. Then I also got Miami under 103.5. This number was, I think, actually only available on Bet365. Miami team total under 103.5. The reason why that's not official is I want to see what happens with Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. Like I said, they didn't travel with the team, but they could take another flight and get there. We'll see how that goes. I am also pretty interested in Sacramento plus the 5.5. I think the 5.5s are now gone. I mean, New Orleans minus plus the 5.5. I think those numbers are. I think that one is gone now. But I also kind of lean that direction as well. Let's see. What else? Let's move this over here, and then let's duplicate it and then erase it and bring this next one over here. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so New Orleans plus the points. Milwaukee team total under 109.5. We'll see what happens with Anthony Edwards. I'm thinking he's gonna play though. I like the look from Tyler. Damian Lillard under Taylor. I'm sorry, under 7.5 assists, and I like the look from Chad as well. Minnesota 1-10 win margin. That's everything that I wrote down. Not sure if I add anything. I kind of do want to go through and deep dive some of these player props a little bit more. I'm just not sure. Like, I don't know. I'm doing a prop show with my guy Munov on Sports Gambling Podcast Network in about 2 hours, and then I'll do Cal's show at 4 as well. But I'll look a little bit more into the prop market. I do think that there's still some very interesting looks on the board as far as props that I haven't gotten a chance to dive into yet. So I'll leave you guys with these couple plays. The green are official plays. We'll be fading Wemby in some form of fashion today. Yeah, I think we're good here. I think we are good here. I skipped Nuggets in Portland. I did skip Nuggets in Portland. How did I skip Nuggets in Portland? Did I make a graphic for it? I think I did. Oh yeah, I just went right by it. Actually, I don't really got too many like burning thoughts on Nuggets in Portland. I skipped Cavs and Raptors too, and I still been on here for 2 hours. I'm not sure how I skipped over these games, so it should be after the Lakers game. Yeah, I didn't look too deeply into this game. Portland third quarter, I think is a really good look. I do expect Portland to be able to come out with something. Here's the problem with Portland. I was looking into their injury report last night. They're still going to be very, very short-handed in this game. And I think that's one of the reasons they got smacked up by Denver in the last game. So Jeremy Grant is listed as questionable with a knee injury. Not sure if he's going to play. He definitely helps the offense out a lot. You need offense if you're going to, be taking points against Denver, because this is one of the better offensive teams in the NBA. But they also got Aiden out. They got Scoot Henderson out. Like, I'm starting to worry about Portland being able to keep up as far as, offensive production here. Klingon is not great offensively. Denny Abdia is really good. Kamara can be hit or miss. Anthony Simons can be hit or miss as well. And then on the Nuggets side of things, I think they're going to have everybody outside of the guys that they haven't had recently with Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson. I think Jamal Murray is probable, and Aaron Gordon is also probable. So I think Denver got enough to win this game by double digits. Again, I'm just not too confident in pulling the trigger one way or another. Maybe a Jokic triple-double. I think he did miss it in the last game, so maybe he gets his triple-double in this one. I don't think that Portland, let's see, neither one of these teams have to play tomorrow, right? So yeah, last game before the All-Star break for both teams. I don't know, man. I kind of feel indifferent about this game. So no real like definitive thoughts. Denver third quarter ATS, the minus the 3.5, because they've been one of the best third quarter teams in the NBA. Do expect Portland to potentially have something early if you like them at all. Maybe Denver's just kind of ready to go into the All-Star break. And then the last game was the Cavs and the Raptors. I don't think I went over this one either. And I don't really have any burning thoughts on this one either. This line open 13. It's up to 14.5 total, 235.5. I kind of feel like we need to see what the injury report is for the Raptors. I did write some stuff in my notes in this game. Real quick for the Raptors. Final matchup of the season, Cleveland won the first one on open night. They actually smoked the Raptors by 30. They beat them in a rematch on November the 24th by 14 as 11.5 point favorites. And then Cleveland beat OKC, and they played Toronto the next night without Donovan Mitchell on the second leg of a back-to-back and lost the game outright to Toronto, 132-126 as a 13.5 point favorite, home favorite. Two of the games have actually gone under the total, with one going over the total. Cleveland has won 3 straight, only 1-4 against the spread in their last 5, though. Back-to-back overs against the Wizards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. They played 7 of their last 8 games up and over the total, and this is the last game of the break for them. Toronto, not in a great spot. 6 game in 9 nights, 7 game in 11 nights. Second leg of a road home back-to-back after beating the Philadelphia 76ers last night. When I was looking into some trend stuff, the Cavs are 7-1 to the over if they're playing unrested opponents, including 7 in a row. So last 7 games, the games have gone up and over the total. Excuse me, they've gone over their team total in 7 straight games, averaging 121 points in those games. Toronto is 6-2-1 against the spread. However, when they're playing unrested this season, another very strong, profitable team, and an almost perfect 3-0-1 if they've had to travel on the second leg of a back-to-back, which is the situational spot for them. They do have to travel back home from Philly to Toronto here. So last night, they got to win. They got to cover. They also covered against the Raptors against the Rockets on Sunday as well. So I'm not sure. 14 and a half points is a lot. And it's the last game for the Cavs. Maybe they don't care about winning this one by margin. I kind of worry about the Raptors for the full game just because they could potentially rest, Emmanuel quickly in this spot. And without quickly, I'm not expecting RJ Barrett to come back and play in this game. I'm also not expecting Jakob Poeltl to come back and play in this game, but I could be wrong. You got to wait on the injury report for those guys. If that's the case, I think Toronto team total under is probably the best look here. They stayed under their team total last night at 108.5 against Philly, even while winning the game. So that's the way that I would probably look in this one, even though the trends say Cleveland should be able to score the basketball. And I do agree with that. Probably a look towards Darius Garland to hit his threes as well in this spot. I think the number is 2.5. So those are my thoughts on those two games. I didn't bet either one of them. Not super interested unless I do some deep diving and find some stuff. So I'm sorry I missed those two games, but yeah, just my thought processes on those two. Getting it back to the recap, all of the things that I'm looking towards are here. And if I add anything, I'll send it out to the members. Just 2 official plays so far. And we'll see how the rest of the card goes. I'll have a few more prop looks, and we'll be on with Kyle at 4:00. And that'll be it. Resources, used all of them for the show. They're all listed here. Best of luck on all your action for today. Check out these in the description of the video if you're interested in signing up for any of them, using them as a part of your own handicapping process. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. It's a short little 5-game slate for tomorrow before the All-Star break. Then a nice, well-deserved break. Can't wait for the break. Next week, and then we'll get back into NBA. I'm not doing shows for All-Star. I'm actually not even sure if I'm gonna watch the All-Star stuff. I'm not really that interested. So best of luck on all your action today. As always, appreciate you all for tapping in, being part of the ChrisBeCappinn community. Enjoy your what's today, Wednesday, and I will catch you in the next one. Come on.